Playing around at the speed of sound. Got bad games to show. Gotta load my Nintendo. Can't stick around, have to keep playing trash. Guess what lies ahead? Only one way to crash out. Follow me, set me free. Trust me and we will endure this bootleg stream. We'll both get screwed, prove it to you. Follow me on twitch.tv, on YouTube at Bad Game Hall of Fame, all the other socials. Hi, hello. How's it going, Charkie?
Hey, Cass. I'm doing okay.
Very good. Welcome, one and all. Welcome to the Bad Game Hall of Fame. Welcome to Sonic Bootleg Blast. This is the show in which we play a bootleg blast, a veritable blast of bootlegs of the Sonic variety. So, you ever heard of this Sonic the Hedgehog fellow? What's your familiarity with Sonic?
See. I had Sonic the Hedgehog, not for resale. I believe that was the full title.
Yeah, the full. People
the
drop the subtitle, but, you know, we want to be accurate to the...
Yes, Sonic the Hedgehog, not for resale, was the first game I had for my Genesis. It came with my Genesis. I've been a fan, mostly, of Sonic since then. There was a few periods in time where I pieced out of the series because, like, maybe I was only, like, renting some of the stuff and not buying, or some games came out around the middle of 2000 that I wasn't so interested in.
Pray tell, what?
Shadow the Hedgehog.
Oh, of course.
But no, I like Sonic. I am still willing to give Sonic a try in the modern era as well, even when some of the newer Sonic games are also not very good. But we'll get to that in future episodes, because that's not tonight.
No, tonight is a different breed. And just to establish credentials up top, yes, I was also a early adopter of Sonic the Hedgehog not for resale on my Sega Genesis. And some of my earliest, fondest gaming memories are tied to playing Sonic II with my mom, sitting on her bed in front of our dinky little CRT, and me insisting on playing as Tails because they couldn't die. And we didn't make it very far in that game because my mom, it was not a gamer. To this day, she calls every video game a bang bang shoot 'em up, which is an incredible bit, which is absolutely hilarious. I did not appreciate that as someone who was taking games too seriously as a teenager, but now I can appreciate the comedy in that bit. But anyway, back to Sonic.
And the award for bang bang shoot 'em up of the year goes to Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
Well deserved. So anyway, yeah, Sonic I have a sentimental attachment to, even as I am on the record as saying that I don't much care for platformers, which is like 95% of Sonic the Hedgehog games. So yeah, I don't really keep up with the games. I don't really keep up with the comics either. Certainly don't keep up with the TV shows. Haven't watched the movies. But yet, still I call myself something of a Sonic fan. I just want the best for this little hedgehog. I just want him and his pals, especially Tails, to just keep on trucking, keep on sticking around. The games industry is a more fun place for them.
Wasn't at the end of the Sonic Forces playthrough, you said your dream story for the series was for Sonic to fuck off forever?
Yeah, no, that is true as well. Yeah, I do want a Sonic game without Sonic in it and just forcing everyone else to pick up the reins, fill in the hole, and discover, like, we don't actually need them. We can do our own thing. We can write compelling arcs for these characters. But that's, maybe we'll talk more about Sonic later in the show. God, I hope so. It's a whole show about Sonic, specifically Sonic bootlegs. Bootleg games, unlicensed games, pirate games, all sort of synonymous with one another in some sense of the word. And a subject we have not covered so much on the Bad Game Hall of Fame streams. I don't know why. We just have not got around to it. Thank you for the subscription, Veslas, who says, as Negative Land said, copyright infringement is your best entertainment value. And yes, these bootleg games we're about to play will hopefully be, I believe them to be, entertaining in their badness, in their bootleggedness. But we will also endeavor to do what we do on the Bad Game Hall of Fame, which is give them benefit of the doubt, and also explore maybe a little more of the history behind some of them. We are not the first to cover Sonic bootlegs, far from it. But I've seen a lot of people get a lot of things wrong about a lot of these Sonic bootlegs. Hello, Raiders. Welcome to the show. About to get underway with some Sonic bootlegs. But before we do that, before we get to the games, before we get to a bit of history, before we get to all the things that happen in the course of one of these shows, I know I opened with my singing, my wonderful voice, but I think that's maybe the second most anticipated part of the show that people tune in for. The number one with a bullet that does not move quite as fast as Sonic the Hedgehog, but does as much damage, is of course Charkie's Stream Snack.
All right, tonight's stream snack is... Okay, no, hear me out. I went to the store. Now I was going to get onion rings. Because rings, that would be on theme.
That would make sense.
No onion rings in the entire store. I found that, hard to believe, but just no onion rings. So, I got onion petals, which are the same thing, breaded, fried onion, but they're not in a ring. So
minus the one part that would tie it into Sonic the Hedgehog, minus the one thing that tenuously ties it to the gimmick.
But that means you can consider them bootleg onion rings. Because they're like it, but they're not. There's something wrong. And tonight's drink. Yeah, I look for chicken rings too, and I didn't even have those. Tonight's drink is Lucky Fuck Energy Sparkling OG Luck. The flavor is Sparkling OG Luck. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Let's open this up and give it a try. I also have no clue what the flavor is supposed to be. The image on the can is this green chrome-looking cat wearing sunglasses and wearing a necklace with a dice on it, and green goop kind of filling out. It looks like an NFT. I will see if it tastes like an NFT. While I take a sip, why don't you say what you're having?
Oh, you know me. If I want to go fast, the fuel I put in my system is none other than Monster Energy Ultraviolet.
This is a present from me.
Thank you to Blah Hats, who says, "Yum." They must love the taste of NFTs. They must know that you're in for a treat right now.
I don't know what this flavor is. I almost want to say apple? Maybe a sour apple, kinda? Okay, actually, wait. I just found the website here. No, don't give me the Advanced Energy Gummies. It says, crisp apple kick with a hint of cotton candy smoothness. I can taste that, too. So yeah, cotton candy and, a sour apple. Or maybe not so much a sour apple, just an apple, because I'm not getting sour out of this.
Chat's coming up with recommendations. People were saying you should have gotten Funyuns. Johnny thought you were going to get a whole onion. Vesla says Charky could do what our former prime minister in Australia did and eat a raw onion, just bite right into it. I've seen that clip. It's great. I've also done that because I really like onion. I don't recommend it.
Okay. So to clear it up for everyone in chat, the thing that links Sonic to onion rings is the ring part, not the onion part. I've got the onion part.
Funyuns are in the shape of rings, and you could potentially, if you do an onion in a certain way, you could put a giant hole in the onion, and that would be an onion with a hole in it.
And I'll counter Funyuns by saying, would you really want me crunching Funyuns into the microphone constantly? Because no. Oh, and thank you for 5 gift subs, Claw Hats.
It is much appreciated on this auspicious night.
And I think that will do it for the stream snack.
Very good. Wow. I did my opening bit, and I just want the folk at home to know that I was denied, that Charky axed. I had a whole other verse there. It was killer. It had the line, "Must keep on banging my head. No time for good games. Suffer my pain instead." I would have sung that part. I would have sung the whole thing. And it would have been amazing. It would have been comedy gold.
Yes.
Yeah.
You had 7 other verses. and like a reprise chorus. Like
Well,
there are
yeah.
parts in there that weren't even related to the original song. You're just making up your own lyrics.
And there was gonna be
Go
an
with
improv,
this thing.
improv scatting section as well, just to really show my range. Because I know the
Yeah, I
folk
saw
at
that
home
in the
love
brackets.
it. Yes. Well, anyway, enough faffing about. Let's get to the main stage. And before we get into any of the games tonight, I want to take a trip back in time. I mean, I guess this whole stream is a trip back in time, isn't it, when we play old games? I want to go to a website. I want to go to a particular website that I frequented back in the day in my early Sonic fandom. I discovered, in an era before search engines were particularly ubiquitous or particularly practical, a little community
One
by the
person to
name...
go to find things online, and his name was Jeeves.
And he told me to Bing it. Anyway, here's Sonic Cult. This is a website that is available on the Wayback Machine at this point. This was, at a moment in time, the preeminent Sonic the Hedgehog hacking community, enthusiasts of tracking down all the prototypes of Sonic the Hedgehog games and such. They were something like a bastion for the old school Sonic fan. Around the time that, like, Sonic Adventure came out, a lot of people started, like, noping out of this website, saying, well, you know, the magic's gone. What are we doing here? It's also, like, you know, one of the most aggressive websites you'll ever read. Sonic Cult is our name. Rectal Prolapse is our game. Welcome to Sonic Cult, the leader in Sonic the Hedgehog game research and information. If you're looking for another type of Sonic site, perhaps one of those crappy Sonic anime sites or one of those pathetic Freedom Fighter pages, please look elsewhere. We're here to entertain the real Sonic fans. But, you know, I was an edgy teenager, so this appealed to me. And...
she's beautiful.
Something in particular that appealed to me, something I was always fascinated by, like pages I would always check in on, even though they didn't really update past a certain point, was this section called Sonic Pirates, where they attempted to document in a moment in time all of the known bootleg cartridges floating around, most of them having this graphic here. You'd go to the information page, and they would tell you scant bits of information, have scans of the cartridges, maybe some of the box arts. Browser capture don't work so good, because I would love to show even more of the box art here. So this was just like a really fascinating thing to me. I think a lot of my passion for digging deeper into games may have stemmed from this community. I will say, you know, taking the rose-tinted glasses off, I believe the guy who ran this site went by the name of Pachuca, and he did some not-so-cool things online. I think a lot of the members of this community were known for being, like, actively raiding other Sonic fan communities and trying to battle them and, like, DDoS their sites and stuff. I've seen some videos attempting to document the history of this fucking site, and it's not flattering in the least.
Is this a website that would have hosted that edgy ROM hack based on SAT AM?
I don't know which ROM
which
hack
one I'm
you're
talking
specifically referring to.
It's I don't know if it's a ROM hack or it might just be a straight up fan game. But there's this Sonic fan game out there based on SAT AM, but like people are doing drugs and like Sally gets possessed by a demon or something, and like everyone's cursing. We were talking about it in the Discord actually like a couple weeks ago.
Maybe that'll come up later. I kind of want to get off this website now, if you don't mind. But first,
Sure,
I want to
yeah, go
point
for
out that this is also the first place I heard of Sonic Jam on the Tiger Gamecom. And so when we wrote the article about Sonic Jam for the Tiger Gamecom on the badgamehalloffame.com website, badgamehalloffame.com/sonic-jam-tiger-game-com or something like that, probably. And I commissioned art for it. I really wanted to do the cartoony style here. And we had an artist who fucking nailed it with a picture of Tails. So that was pretty cool. Anyway, yeah, you know, Sonic Cult is perhaps best left in the past. But they also had a page where, this is just one last note, even though I said I wanted to be done and off of this website. If I can make my browser scroll just a little lower, just a little, there we go. Sonic Hentai Dojinji. This was also an early website that would expose people to the world of hentai, in particular Sonic hentai. So,
It's a shame websites like this give cults a bad name.
anyway, enough of that shit. We got some games to play tonight. So we're going to go through the history of Sonic bootlegs. In our typical fashion, we're going to go through them chronologically as best I can. Because the thing about bootlegs and unlicensed games is that it is hard to find solid release information for much, if any, of them. So the timeline I'm providing here is going to be best guesstimates. It is what it is. And so the first game that I'm going to quantify, classify, categorize as a Sonic bootleg comes from 1993. This is just 2 years after the release of Sonic the Hedgehog on Genesis and/or Mega Drive in 1991. So it did take 2 years for stuff to start coming out. Our first game tonight will be Ball Bearing for the Amstrad CPC. Yeah, you don't see this one in many of the Sonic bootleg retrospectives. Other people making Sonic bootleg videos, they skip this one. So what the fuck is Ball Bearing? Well, let's find out. It's an Amstrad CPC game, so that's a European microcomputer. The game was developed and published by one Radical Software. The only way to get hands on this game back in the day was to mail in for it. You would see magazine ads. In fact, I might have one of those to show in just a minute. But an obscure little piece of kit when it first released. The reason most people remember it is because it was subject to a particularly scathing review in the pages of Amstrad Action, issue 97. I have an archive.org link for this particular magazine, wherein it was reviewed by one Simon Forrester for the magazine. And to be clear, in 1994, 5, 3, whatever year this magazine was published, any year past the year 1990, the Amstrad CPC was like on life support, was fucking dead. It's amazing there was even still a magazine for it after all. Most of the pages of this magazine were like filled with type-in programs. They had a few reviews for the small handful of games still coming out for this piece of shit. It's among the microcomputers, the Amstrad CPC was the lowest spec. It was the budget option among budget options for microcomputers because it had a monitor built into it. If we ever do more on microcomputers, perhaps a series on microcomputers, we'll get more into it. But for now, we turn to the pages of this review, where the big point of contention that Simon Forrester has, the opening line here reads, "Remember, kids, unoriginal game ideas can be fun." He accuses it basically of ripping off a pre-existing game by the name of Croco Magneto, also for the Amstrad CPC. And there's a bit of truth to that, in that the code for that game was public domain. And so the folk at Radical Software found that public domain code, modified it, made their own game on top of it. So in addition to ripping off Sonic in a few different ways, this game is also arguably stolen code. I'd say that this game is an improvement over that Croco Magneto. The Simon Forrester guy really doesn't let it go in the course of this 40% scoring review, but it is markedly an improved game. And for one thing, it has screen scrolling versus the other one, which is like one of those flip scroll, where you reach the edge of the screen and it flips over to the next, as many classic microcomputer games leveraged. So, whatever. I mean, not whatever. I guess it's theft. I guess I should probably care somewhat about theft here. I should probably care about public domain developers having their stuff stolen. But, at the same time, who gives a shit? It's a 1993 game for the Amstrad CPC that sold for £4. And, as savage as this review is, that still would not stop Amstrad Action for advertising for Radical Software and this game, because they were so fucking hard up for sponsors, for anyone to pay for adverts in their magazine, that they would savage a game on one screen and then advertise for it on the next. Right above an ad for Horse Racing for Profit, wherein they are like this straight up advertising gambling magazines where you can get like statistics on horses and stuff before you go to the racetrack. So... take Simon Forrester's words with a grain of salt, I suppose.
I mean, like, imagine you're running, I don't know, like Gamecom Monthly magazine or something like that. You got Real Beef with like one of the publishers. What are you gonna do? That's it. That's all you got.
We're loading up an Amstrad CPC here, by the way, which means it's going to take a minute as we load this disk image. I said that this is a Sonic bootleg of sorts. I intend to prove that. For one thing, look at the fucking font treatment here.
Yeah, that welcome is exactly the same welcome that's on the top of
The ball, the
When I
word
say
ball,
super.
the way the word ball is written, the blue text with the orange outline. There's more.
I know. Yes.
Believe me, there's more. I'll play this on easy. We're here for a good time, not a hard time. Set it to joystick. Oh, nope, I wasn't fast enough. Now I need to wait for this fucking screen to cycle
You're too
over
slow.
again. Here we go. So we're this blue ball. So we bounce off of walls and collect rings.
Yeah, you're burning oil as well.
Yeah, oil is our fuel. When we run out of that, we melt. We lose a life.
Now,
Go ahead.
I believe that this is the fire shield well before Sonic 3 introduced it.
There you go.
So-
Sega ripped them off in turn.
Yeah.
So mostly, usually if you're running into like the shrubbery and stuff here, it drains your oil. If you're on fire, it allows you to bypass that damage. And because the only ways you can move are up and down, beyond obviously bouncing into anything and everything.
I would feel like being on fire would also burn a lot of oil.
You would think, but not in this game's wacky logic shit. Down.
I said this to you when you showed this to me like a little bit earlier, but this does look like something that would be on UFO 50.
Commonly cited as the worst game for the UFO 50 console. What's the UFO 50 console in universe? Is it the UFO 50?
No, the UFO 50 is like the
Is
idea
this the name of the comp?
one cart.
Yeah, that's the name of the fake multi-cart. Multi-carts going to be a big factor in tonight's proceedings, by the way.
Okay, so I have never owned a physical like bootleg game. Like I've never had a multi-cart. I've never had like just a fake ass game on a reproduction card. I actually saw this video recently where someone was buying N64 games off of Temu, where they're just like ROM hacks for like Super Mario Brothers and shit that are put onto reproduction cards with AI generated stickers put on for the cover.
It's a brave new era we're in right now.
But no, I've never actually owned a bootleg cart, but for some reason, that is a recurring dream of mine, is going to a game store and just buying a bunch of bootleg games and like trying them out and shit. I don't know why I have that dream and I've never had that experience. Maybe I should have that experience someday. Maybe that's telling me I was meant to buy bootleg games.
Perhaps go to your local flea market. That's where I always saw bootleg games in the wild. I never bought them, but you know, there was a time in our lives where we were being frequently taken to a flea market to get deals and such, and that's primarily where these existed in North America. Besides maybe some mail-in campaigns they may have tried to run, maybe some off-brand stores that would stock them, but primarily, like, you know, these were made for other markets beyond North America, Taiwan, larger Asia, some like South America to a certain extent, certainly Brazil.
Russia with the Dendy,
Yep, absolutely.
for sure. I have a question from chat here that
Please, yeah.
I think you would be good to answer this. Yeah, if I can find it again. Okay, Ghost of Ghost Dad asks, I had some Color Dream games. Does that count as bootleg?
Tenuously, I mean, yes, technically yes, because they are obviously operating outside of Nintendo's like commercial system of, you know, manufacturing cartridges. They are off-brand for sure, but I don't know, I feel like they almost escape it a little bit because they did have almost legitimate distribution. Color Dreams,
there's a weird thing.
God damn it.
There's a weird bit of Color Dreams in the fact that they actually got, especially once they became Wisdom Tree.
They were
the
in
fact that
all
they
the Christian
got-
bookstores, yeah.
Yeah, they got stores to actually sell their thing rather than just sort of having these things show up in places.
Oh god, this game sucks, by the way. Can I just say
Brandon,
that this is bad? Can we just get that? Cards on the table, not fun. All right, continue,
Now-
please.
Granted, if I remember correctly what I've heard, so there was, God, I can't remember it. Maybe if I find it, we can look to it. But there was this YouTuber who did his videos ages ago where he was talking about like Dendy games because he'd grown up with Dendy games, and he was talking about how like at the actual Dendy stores, the official stores for this thing, they were selling these like multi-carts and these bootleg ass games. So those were being sold in some sort of, what one might say official capacity, as official as it could get. But they were just like bootlegs taken out of mostly Asia, I think.
We'll get into
don't
the
think many of them
origins
were
of
made in Russia.
some of the well-known developers of pirate cartridges as we cover this ground, as we cover more games in the show tonight. Hummer Team will certainly come up. I think they're one of, if not the most notorious unlicensed devs for the NES, Game Boy at all.
I think it's, in my head, like, I'm thinking right now that if we're thinking of stuff like Color Dream / Wisdom Tree as bootleg, then where does that put Tension?
Considering that they were an outfit operated by Atari, yeah, that's the thing. I think Mr. Taco says something like, not all unlicensed games are bootlegs, all bootlegs are unlicensed, something like that. But whatever the correct way to say that is, whatever the way they intended it was. By the way, have you gathered that we need to collect every ring to beat a stage?
Oh, of course. No, I had like Gauntlet and Miss Pac-Man on NES, and those were definitely not licensed.
But they were functional. They had production value behind them. What Sonic level is this like? Scrap Brain from Sonic 1?
Kinda. Yeah, there's the colors maybe. The colors maybe not right, but there are elements of it that are there for sure.
You can tell what they're trying to homage, at the very least here, that this is, graphically very much inspired. They're trying to cop the aesthetic. Ow, 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 ow.
Misako says, yeah, I'm sure I could have worded that better. No, you're fine. I get what you mean.
No, I just didn't remember it straight up. I just failed to look back at chat to get it right. Come on. Nope. I'm tapping up and down. There we go.
Vesla says, I wrote an essay for university about piracy, and one thing that I read is that bootlegging is often used to differentiate Western copyright infringement acts, sampling and so forth, from supposedly lesser third world copyright infringement. And it's interesting to hear that when it comes to how you describe Color Dreams. Don't take that the wrong way.
No doubt. No, you're absolutely right. And, bootlegging, the term originally comes from what? Bootlegging like alcohol specifically. So,
yeah.
Which has always had a weird reputation, a weird sort of, reverence in, North America and our history of, like racing exists. Like the idea of like race cars came from people outrunning the cops in jalopies as part of bootlegging operations. A lot of weird stuff, a lot of history. I'm sure it's probably an interesting paper.
I'm them NASCAR boys are getting away again.
So that was a game that we played. Wasn't good. We got more though. And there's a few that I'm not going to bother playing tonight, but I'm going to cover here just in slideshow capacity. I wanted to open up with at least like a little bit of gameplay so folk know that we can actually play games here. But these are going to be a few mention-onlys, if you will, mostly of the sprite swapping variety. So the first one I see fit to cover here is World Heroes 2 by way of Konisoft. I believe Konisoft was just another name for Hummer Team, one of several. I should probably double check this in the background.
Now, I've heard of this game. I'm pretty sure it's not a Sonic game.
Well, Sonic's in it. Okay, no, so Konisoft, not a spin-off of Hummer Team. We'll get into Hummer Team. They had a lot of different fake names that they operated under. No, so Konisoft was also known as Yoko Soft. They were an unlicensed game developer and publisher, primarily operating in the 90s. They put out a game by the name of Master Fighter 5, which was was based off of, they built a proprietary like Street Fighter II engine, a ripoff engine. Oh, no, wait. See, this is why I should probably write also a Google Doc in addition to this. So Hummer Team made a Street Fighter ripoff for the NES, right? Following me so far? And then Konysoft stole that to make their own fake Street Fighter games, including the likes
double
of...
bootleg.
Yes, which happened a lot. To be clear, this happened a lot. If you ever see, like, there are stories of there being, like, elaborate, ridiculous copy protection on bootleg games to avoid this exact thing from happening, because bootleggers would steal from other bootleggers, honor among thieves and all that. So Konysoft here was putting out games like of Fatal Fury 2 for the NES, Mortal Kombat 2 for the NES, also known as Mortal Kombat V Turbo 30. If you ever seen that NES Mortal Kombat with like 30 fucking characters, and by which I mean like 8 characters repeated with different palette swaps and stuff. So anyway, World Heroes 2 is one of several games they put out on the same engine. The gimmick of this World Heroes, not to be confused with the real World Heroes franchise, is that the characters within were stolen, were unlicensed from other properties. Hey, there's Goku. Hey, it's me, Goku. Hey, it's Ryu from Streets. A very hunky Bowser. A Mario on the right, and of course, a Sonic the Hedgehog. Who's who of fighting game characters assembled for the ultimate fight. And what does a fight look like? Something like this. This is one of the most sprite-flickery games to ever exist because of the way they do like the tile mapping, and they have to like, rapidly swap between so many different tiles at a time to facilitate, some very elaborate backgrounds and some, fairly elaborate sprites to their credits. They're all very sloppily drawn. The gameplay does not have much depth, but if you ever wanted Sonic to fight Mai Shiranui, or Goku, or any one of the other characters on display in this game, this is the game to do it. If you were only limited to an NES, if you didn't have Mugen, I guess, at the time too. And you probably wouldn't have in 1994 when this game is estimated to have come out. You can certainly play this. It has 2-player, so you can do some goofy-ass matchups in it. Maybe this will show up on a fight night, and I will make you and Johnny suffer the indignity of playing this. But we move along to Super Mario and Sonic 2. This is another NES title. This one by way of the JY Company, again, released in or around 1994. And, I'm looking at this cover, this cartridge here. This is a little too high res. Most cartridge images you'll find online are like all of 240 pixels wide and JPEG compressed to hell and back. So let me do something that feels a little more like home. Here we go. Here's an alternate version of that cartridge. I can't help but notice that Sonic here is looking a little different, a little more off-model than the previous carts.
Tails and big tails.
So, what is this game? What is this incredible team-up of Mario and Sonic and apparently Chip from Chip 'n Dale?
Run, coward.
It's just Chip 'n Dale. It's just Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers on the NES with a character select where you can have the combination of Mario and Sonic, of Chip 'n Dale, of Mario and Mario, or Sonic and Red Sonic. What does it look like in gameplay? Well, it's just a fucking sprite swap of Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers. Yeah, most of the bootlegs, most of the unlicensed games, a large bulk of them, especially from less scrupulous developers, would just be the game that, with the character sprites swapped out for recognizable character insert here. So a lot of these ones just aren't worth covering in their capacity as just sprite swaps. If you play Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, it's that game. That game is fine. What if it looked slightly worse, though? What if it looked slightly more off-brand? Well, unlicensed games had you covered. Speaking of, here is an example of a multi-cart, the 144-in-1 by way of Ben Sheng. But this doesn't really matter. The particulars here don't matter. Once a game came out on multi-cart, and to be clear, most of these unlicensed games were developed with multi-carts in mind, compilations of multiple unlicensed, bootlegged, or otherwise pirated games. including the likes of Pika, which is not to be confused with Pokemon. This is about the eating disorder where you eat things that are inedible. Just coincidentally, it happens to star Pikachu. But you'll notice a Sonic on here. This Sonic corresponds to a game by the name of Sonic that you could find on your multi-cart. Just Sonic. Finally, Sonic on the NES. There is absolutely no information on who developed or originally conceived this this unlicensed game. This was also the case with a lot of developers at the time, a lot of the bootleg operations, in their attempts to dodge copyright. Some would just have multiple names they operated under, and others would operate under no name at all and sell their programs directly to the multi-cart manufacturers. So what is Sonic on the NES? It's just Adventure Island. They just put a weird Sonic sprite into Adventure Island, Hudson Soft's Adventure Island, and changed nothing else about the game. So if you want to play Adventure Island, but you just want Sonic in there, you just can't play a game without having Sonic as the playable character, I suppose Blank Soft had you covered here.
I feel like there's still an art to this of like someone had to make, these Sonic sprites and make them match, whatever like pose they're trying to do. Like there is no Sonic riding a skateboard. So someone had to make something that approximates Sonic on a skateboard for the sake of this thing. Like there was still craft going into some of these things.
I'm not to spoil anything, but we're gonna have an SNES game later. There's actually a pretty good job of it later in the show. But we'll get there when we get there, and we'll maybe talk a little bit more about that.
Granted, sometimes you see things like Granddad, which is I think the famous like Super Mario hack that's actually like the Flintstones game, and they just put Mario's head over Fred Flintstone, and that is it. So sometimes there's a little less craft. But I like seeing stuff like this. That is the funny stuff, yes. But I still like seeing stuff like this.
How about one more? You mentioned Super Mario. Here is High Game 1999 Sonic 3, also for the NES. This one here, scant information available on this one. It is, again, estimated to have come out to start showing up on cartridges in or around 1994. So, a lot of... another thing that happens on multi-carts in the modern, like post-2000s, is that you just get ROM hacks from the internet of different skins, different asset swaps of Mario to be like Afro Mario or racist Hitler Mario or naked Mario. And so they would just become Mario 17, 18, 19, 50, 1000 on these multi-carts where it would just be Super Mario Bros. But with a new coat of paint on it. So what is this cartridge? Why, it is Sonic Bros. It is Sonic in Super Mario Bros. With some minimal amount of sprite swapping outside of just replacing Mario with Sonic. But hey, it's a version of Sonic. It's a version of, I almost said a version of Sonic, a version of Super Mario Bros. That you could play. If you got it in multi-cart form and did not accidentally get a standalone cartridge or a multi-cart that loaded it incorrectly, a lot of times, a lot of the ROMs you might find for this online have the ROM divorced from the multi-cart, and when that happens, the game begins in World 01. It begins in Minus World, and you obviously can't make much progress doing that, because when these are divorced from the multi-cart, they lose a lot of their header information. A lot of the code gets scrambled, so you end up with glitches like a game that you can't actually play. And sometimes even that just happened on the actual multi-carts. Even when they were implemented as intended, they would just break down somewhere along the way, and you would not be able to complete the game, and you would miss out on an ending where Sonic saves Tails, also pictured in sprite form here. Good job, Sonic. Your quest is over. We present you a new quest. If my thought here, the thing I come back to is like, if you purchased yourself an NES, or maybe one of those plug and play NESs that had a multi-cart built into it in or around the 90s. Yeah, absolutely. That's one such example. And you had never played a Mario before. You probably knew of, were aware of Super Mario Bros., but just did not have the means to afford it, to access it. You were in a country where it wasn't being actively manufactured and sold at a reasonable price. And so you wind up with one of these reskins, one of these bootlegs, one of these unlicensed versions thereof. And, it is the game that Sonic Island was Adventure Island, that Sonic and Mario, Super Mario Sonic, whatever the name of that fucking game was, too, is Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. This is Super Mario Bros. You could get a decent experience out of it, putting aside and looking past some of the sloppy sprite work. But, at the same time, these just aren't particularly interesting to me to cover in their capacity as just being very basic ROM hack-esque games that were put out there. I think they're interesting academically. I do earnestly believe that a lot of this stuff needs to be better documented and preserved, a subject we'll touch on more as the show goes on, I'm sure. But folk at home are probably getting sick of just the slideshow. They probably want to see us play a honest-to-God game here, one that has some cachet behind it, one that we can not only speak on, but play a little bit of. And the first one of note, perhaps the most major one, the most recognizable, infamous of the Sonic bootlegs, is none other than Somari the Adventurer for the NES. I just want to read the quote on this box, and this is what the official box looked like, by the way, the quote-unquote official box. Don't just sit there and waste your precious time. When you want to do something, do it right away. Do it when you can. It's the only way to live a life without regrets. So, Somari the Adventurer.
Wasn't something like that on one of the official Sonic box arts too? If
yes,
not
this
that
is an
exact
homage.
Phrase.
Not that exact phrase, but yes, the Sonic the Hedgehog box art would often have these sort of quotes written on it, these bits of broken English or just strange, seemingly unrelated to the game at hand quotes. That was a part of the official Sonic packaging, so they were emulating it down to that aspect. You'll notice a credit on the left-hand side that says, Somari Team presents. This is where we finally get to talk about Hummer Team, because Somari Team was just one of many aliases they operated under. Hummer Team operated out of Taiwan. They were spun off from a company by the name of C&E, which was in some capacity an official developer, certainly more official than Hummer Team was. They actually put out the first Chinese-developed RPG for the NES, a game by the name of Sheng Hao Lei Zon. So they had some, genuine credits under their name as C&E. And then the Hummer Team folk split off, and the only inroads they had, the only way they had to make a mark in the market was to just go full unlicensed, full bootleg, full pirating. They are responsible for many of the most notable games, unlicensed games on the NES, the likes of Kart Fighter, perhaps you've heard of, or AV Bishojo Senshi Girl Fighting. They made the Aladdin conversion of the SNES game back to NES. Did some Dragon Ball games. They did a version of Super Mario World. They did Tekken 2 on the NES. The list goes on and on. They are one of the most prolific bootleg developers. Titanic, also known as Harry's Legend, the Titanic NES game, attempting to tie into the movie unofficially, and then the later Harry Potter reskin of that, so on and so forth. They're also responsible for a Famiclone console by the name of the Z-Dog, which was a plush dog toy that had a console built into it that you would further plug into your TV and then play the games off of. So they got up to a lot of stuff. But this game here...
It sounds like Child Cronenberg coming up with a concept.
It was the original idea for Videodrome, but David Cronenberg found it too upsetting, so he pivoted.
By the way, I double-checked. The text on the Somari the Adventurer thing is the exact same text that's on the Japanese box art for Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
For Sonic 2, okay, there it is. All right, so Sonic 1 had a different quote on it, if I am to recall correctly. And so that is the Sonic 2 text they have there. So forward thinking, that's the sort of benefit you get from releasing somewhere in 1994 with Somari the Adventurer. So this one here, unlike the games that we skipped past, is a built from the ground up game starring Mario in an approximation of Sonic the Hedgehog for the Sega Genesis. So let's get into it. Let's actually get started playing this, why don't we? I'll have to level some volume here. All right. Let me just rewind real quick. Let me do an audio test real quick. That's much better. Okay. So you want to play this one?
Good, yeah.
You should have control, I think, right out the gate.
Okay. What controls do I have? It just jump, just like a regular.
Well, you actually do
Sonic.
have a spin dash, which was not in Sonic
do.
1, if you'll recall. That's another benefit of this releasing post Sonic 2. Is that
Once
they
you
were able
start
to
spin
incorporate the
dashing, though, you're not allowed to stop spin dashing. Oh, damn it.
This game is also hard as nails. This is a very mean game. Enemies continue to respawn, unlike in Sonic the Hedgehog on the Sega Genesis. Get some rings, though. The rings work the same, so if you get rings, you can take a hit. You can't recover rings, though. That would have been too hard. That would have been too difficult to implement.
Oh, no.
Oh, by the way, you're just fucked. Yeah, once you fall into Spike Pit, there's no getting out. You keep you have no control over the rings. Let me rephrase. Yeah. You're stuck here forever unless I am kind enough to do this for you.
Okay.
These are sort of things that you overlook as someone who is getting into the unlicensed scene, scrambling to put these games together, but you're maybe not, like a seasoned game developer. Maybe you have the technical know-how to like implement things like tile maps and rapid sprite swapping and utilizing like the increased memory allocations that these cartridges would often have. And that's great, but it doesn't teach you, that doesn't come with a diploma in game design, which is where a lot of these games fall apart.
So you mentioned the people who did one of the Titanic NES games.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know which one it is, because I've played several Titanic NES games, because there are several. One of them I do actually like, but I don't know which one it was. That's the problem.
So, here's the other thing. Homer Team are often regarded as some of the best unlicensed developers. Certainly put the most effort into their outputs. They weren't guilty of just doing the sprite swap stuff. At least not in terms of the stealing other NES games, licensed games, and then putting their own graphics on top of it. They would steal from themselves, as we'll find out tonight, as we will discover in short order here. But, this is, for what it's worth, a pretty decent approximation of Sonic's mechanics and gameplay to the NES. Like, it could be worse.
Oh, it could. Yeah, I'm not going to say it's particularly good, though. It doesn't feel particularly good. But they did manage to get Sonic onto here in a way. Like, my main problem is like the momentum. Because once you start spin dashing, I'm used to being able to jump out of a spin dash, or like hold back to stop a spin dash, or literally anything. But when you start spin dashing here, like, you are stuck. You cannot undo what you have done.
Somari has passed. Those are the words I long to hear as a...
Oh, okay. Ooh, wait, this is different. Okay.
Yeah, this is more like the Master System Sonic the Hedgehog bonus stages, if I'm to recall correctly. Because doing, like, the rotating stage probably would have been too big an ask.
I mean, let's be fair. Those rotating stages weren't very good.
No.
I'll take this.
There might be a Chaos Emerald here. They don't factor into anything. You don't, even if you collect all the Chaos Emeralds, you don't get a bespoke ending for it, a better ending, a good end, if you will, in this game.
I can't be Super Somari.
No. You may find something that remedies that later in the show, but that might be spoiling stuff. I want to leave people in a sense of anticipation, so I don't want to play all my cards just yet.
I was part of a video night thing years ago. I've mentioned this before. And one night, I had the last video up, and I played that clip of, like, anticipate. And then that's where the video I put ended. And then I waited until the next week, and I was first up, and it was just a video of Tim Burke going, patient.
Yeah. It's a good bit. Let me take over first stage.
Yeah, go
so I can get some, refamiliarize myself with this. be a little more prescient with my criticisms. Can't skip this.
Oh, I wish I got more rings if I had known that. Like, my only real criticism of this at the moment is, like, the momentum. Because, like I said, the spin dash, and also a bit when you're just moving, it feels like it's harder to stop and readjust.
Yeah, no doubt. It is certainly sloppier, but I think it is still relatively impressive. Something I'll note here is that look at, the fact that it can move up and down as well as to the sides, that it has vertical scrolling in a relatively smooth capacity as well as horizontal scrolling. That is a much harder feat than you might imagine.
Oh yeah, there's a reason why, what was it?
Super Mario Brothers
Mega Man
3.
games, Yeah, Super Mario Bros. 3, why that was impressive, and also why most of the Mega Man games were either just side or up and down. They didn't, like, combine the two. I will say that, this seems a little condescending, but this is of a quality... This is of a quality that I want to engage with it critically on its own merit as a game, and not have some sort of, like, kitty gloves of, oh, this is just a bootleg.
Yeah, no, I'd say Hummer Team earns the distinction of being treated a little more seriously. There was a certain craft to what they did. They clearly aspired to be, like, taken seriously. They would sell their games as standalone cartridges. They were not just multi-cart fodder. In fact, I think at a time they probably worked fairly hard to not just be lumped in with multi-cart games.
I feel like there's a way you could look at, maybe not all bootleg games, but there's a way you could look at bootleg games existing in the same space as, like, just indie games do right now. Right? Like, this was just a method of making your game and putting it out there.
I'm cheating. Yeah, no, I mean, especially when options were limited at time. Like, a lot of people became unlicensed developers out of necessity because Nintendo had such a tight grip. The Nintendo seal of quality, that was, not an actual, like, I know it's the point we've made before and that's been made many times, but still warrants making again and again that it was just a means of them controlling the means of distribution, getting percentages out of every game that got sold on their console by owning the exclusive manufacturing rights to it. And so, to get that qualification, to qualify for Nintendo's manufacturing service, you had to pay fees. You were basically, like, operating, unless you were a major developer, a major studio that had some amount of cachet and could negotiate for better terms, Nintendo was fucking you when it came to, like, the percentages and stuff. So, like, for a lot of people, like, yeah, no, this was, like, the only way to make game development financially viable was to go this route. In the same way that, indie games for the longest time, getting them onto one of the major consoles, like, that's the reason why the Ouya existed. That was the reason why they made the Ouya, was there was a legitimate idea there, which was to say, hey, indie games deserve to come out on something like a console too, that they deserve to be treated like console games in an era before, like, Sony or Microsoft were really taking it seriously, before they were, like, giving them proper placement. I thought I had the timing on that right. It's hard. It's a hard game.
Yeah, Nojo 2 saying pretty much what you just said, of Hummer Team being a game dev who didn't get Nintendo's permission. Also saying, I think I read that Hummer Team later worked as a contractor on licensed Saturn games.
That would not shock me. There's a lot of history to get into on Hummer Team. Obviously, this is like a variety show where we only get a bit of time to dedicate to each of the developers. I do want to mention them all by name. That's always something we do here in the Bad Game Hall of Fame, is acknowledge who made the games, who cooked your food, so on, so forth, and cover whatever history we can. But I think Hummer Team, we will probably, as we continue to play more bootleg games on the show, now we've opened up the floodgates, we will give Hummer Team, like, a proper retrospective one of these days. I'm just morbidly curious. Yeah, here we go.
All right, who's the boss? It's Robotnik. I don't know what I was expecting.
Bowser.
Bowser or Sonic. Or Tails.
Why did I jump there? That was stupid of me. Why am I doing this? Why do I do this to myself?
The flickering is throwing you off. You're assuming it's in a superposition of existing and non-existing.
Yeah, that is curious that it needs to flicker that much, that asset in particular. You would think that would just be a fairly standard large sprite that gets to move in a determined pattern across the screen, but I'm sure if Hummer Team could have helped it, they would.
Even fully licensed NES games sometimes feel like they're being held together by duct tape, so I could see that.
Oh yeah,
like Strider exists.
It exists for a frame at a time, and then it doesn't exist for a frame, then it exists for another frame again.
Those should have been Toads.
Yeah, they didn't really commit to the theming fully. It's almost as if they wanted to just make Sonic the Hedgehog, and then at the last second pivoted to inserting Mario into it in a cynical ploy to further avoid Sega's wary eye. Hey, what do you know? It's Marble Hill Zone.
You know if this has all of the stages?
I believe it is missing one of the worlds, one of these stages. I'm just gonna take damage here. There's nothing I can do. I also know that other games we're gonna play tonight, other derivatives of Somari, may feature this stage as well. May skip around, may give us an opportunity to experience a larger breadth of content in this game. So I'm not going to play too much of it right now. We'll hang up Somari for now, having shown off one act in it. Marble Zone. I said Marble Hill, didn't I?
Yes,
Whatever.
I think.
By the way, this level in Sonic 1 sucks. In the real Sonic 1. But you don't need me to tell you that. I mean, that's the most, like, when people look back on Sonic 1 and talk about, like, you know, it actually wasn't that fast. It was actually kind of slow. And that, boy, that Marble Hill, or, no, I said Marble Hill again. I'm never going to stop. You're never going to fix me. You're never going to correct me on that one. I'm sorry, folks. It's too hard ingrained in the brain.
I'll say I liked Marble Zone as a kid because of the music really carried it, some of the atmosphere. But yes, it was a slow level.
To be sure. But perhaps as we move speedily along into our next game, we will see greener hills. Huh.
Ball bearing.
Yeah, we're coming back. I didn't have enough to say about it. Why did my slideshow fuck up? That's no fun. That's no cool. All right. 17, 18. Here we go. This is Sonic for the Microsoft MSX2. This is another interesting one. So this is the product of a studio by the name of Analogy. This emanates from Spain, if I'm to recall correctly, in or around the year 1995. This came out for the MSX2. We actually know the names of the developers on it too: Elvis Gallegos and Manuel Pezos. There's actually a lot known about this game. It is mostly it sort of follows in the aesthetics of the of typical Sonic, in terms of like the stages and whatnot. I'll also mention that this game would eventually come to the Game Boy Advance as well, a conversion of this MXX game in somewhere around the year like 2003. But that version is a little bit sloppier. It's not complete. It is a bootleg of a bootleg, if you will, but it was officially authored by the original developers. The original developers, by the way, who still maintain their webpage for this game, who still maintain an active, a static page that shows you the contents of the game, that sells you on the game, because this would have been a mail order game at the time. You would have had to have mailed away for this. There's even a cute picture at the bottom of the page that shows the developers in a candid photo. Clearly, a lot of work went into this product. Clearly, it was something to be proud of. I will say that Sonic Retro, which is a resource I used for a lot of these games just to make sure I had covered the full breadth of them, goes on to say in their wiki-style page entry for this game that while it's commonly referred to as an unlicensed game, it's technically a fan game, as it's more focusing on giving homage to Sonic the Hedgehog series rather than ripping off the series. Yeah, they, know That's wrong. They sold it for money.
I-
Once you start selling it for money, it transcends fan game and becomes unlicensed. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not how it works. Sonic Retro Editors. Oh, okay. So that page I posted the link to, it is actually freeware at this point. They're not continuing to try and sell it by mail order. Now they just give away the MSX ROM so that if you have a means of loading it, you can do
It'd be
so.
particularly bold to try and sell it by mail order right now.
Yes, especially now. So let's go ahead. Let's see a little bit of this MSX in action. Another console we don't always get an opportunity to show off on the show here, so I will relish in the opportunity to do so.
You ever buy any games by mail order?
No, maybe. It's hard to say. My memory only goes so far back.
I might have. I think back in the day, I might have bought my copy of Mega Man 4 as a mail-in order from like a Funko Land ad in the back of a magazine.
This is.
But I
open
never did like
MSX. Oh, you go ahead.
I never did like a mail order like shareware. Like I never bought Doom by mailing John Romero a check. You know, I never did those kind of mailing orders.
That's what I was thinking. That's why I paused, because I'm like, probably one of those early id software games, maybe like a Quake. There's a chance. No, but no, I absolutely would have just gotten that retail. I wouldn't have mailed away for that. No. Yeah, I don't think I've ordered a mail order game. I was certainly around in an era where it was an option, but I think I was already used to like getting rides to the retail, to the GameStop, the Funko Land, the EB Games, Electronic Boutique et al. MSX2. Banger.
Alana.
Awesome frame rate here. Password if we wanted to skip around and see some other stages. Especially because this game is, again, brutally difficult. I selected easy to try and make life a little easier for myself, but it will only get us so far. If I go to this page, I have the password, so I can maybe see a second or perhaps even a third stage. But let's just start for now. These things take a while to load, these old computers, these old microcomputers. Ah, the classic world map, as seen in Sonic the Hedgehog.
Ooh. True to the Genesis. I remember these load times.
Carmen's asking, should we keep this set to retro on Twitch, since the Twitch categories for any of these games have like 2 followers? Let's pop the 2 followers of Sonic, why don't we? Let them have their fun. I don't know if people just browse the Twitch categories randomly and land on games. If someone in chat, if the way you are here, if the reason you are here right now is because you just saw us streaming in the retro category, speak now, forever hold your peace.
You can't jump on enemies in a Sonic game. What are you, silly?
I thought I was spinning. I thought if I was spinning, it would work. But I forgot to
you
press
weren't
down.
spinning when you jumped on him.
Well, whose fault
I don't know
is
what
that? The game's?
Yeah, the thing is, I don't know what the difference is between a jump that decides it's spinning and a jump that decides it isn't.
It's if you press down while you're in the air. I want that.
There are a couple people in the chat who are saying they found us through retro, by the way.
Interesting. I don't know. I mean, as much as even if we are career streamers at this point, it feels very silly saying that, because it's not true necessarily. I still have my day job. There's still so little we know about Twitch. So one of the things about this game that makes it incredibly difficult is that you need to collect all 7 Chaos Emeralds in every stage to complete it, if I'm to recall correctly the details of this game. And these maps are large, and those Chaos Emeralds are hidden in remote corners of it.
It's going to be dangerously high levels of super if you're collecting 7 per stage. Actually, that's kind of...
Emeralds. Huh?
Now that I think about it, this is
right.
actually kind of like Sonic Frontiers. Because you get all 7 Chaos Emeralds like 4 times in that game.
And then they scatter to the wind like the Dragon Balls.
Yeah,
the second you use
exactly.
them. So you do have to play this really slow and methodically because, again, brutally difficult. And the punishment for losing and having to recollect not only to re-progress through the stage because of the lack of checkpoints, but also recollecting every single Chaos Emerald.
Slime Generator in chat says some nice skank in the soundtrack. Trying to read.
Incorporating ska into the song soundtrack long before Hideki Naganuma would do so with Sonic Rush at all.
Apologies if I mispronounced it. Fell Temper Ratio says the MSX2 was not good at horizontal scrolling, so this is kind of impressive.
Yeah, no, this is, to be clear, I mean, 1995 is pretty late for the MSX2, if I'm to recall correctly, for starters, so they definitely had the advantage of, like, time spent, like, learning. They're probably, like, demo scene developers that, like, were cracking this thing open at this point. I think this also takes advantage of some, you would need, like, RAM extensions for your system to, like, fully leverage and play this game smoothly. With emulation, you can just, like, set those parameters. Fuck!
I don't remember jumping on things being this hard in the original Sonic, though.
Well, that's the thing, is that this doesn't play particularly good. As impressive as this is, as much as I can, like, acknowledge that this is doing some cool stuff under the hood, perhaps, this is also just not a reasonable game. At this point, I'm just suiciding so I can get back to the title screen.
I say press BS to continue.
Backspace.
Okay. Bullshit.
Come on now.
I've worked in retail, so I've had to work on what they call POS machines, and yes, I thought every single time I used it. Every single time I used it, I was thinking piece of shit. For sure.
All right, so we got some zones we can go to. That was the Palm Zone. We can go to level 2 or 3 of that if we so chose. Oh, we can actually do a boss fight. There's the Palm Zone, the Ice Zone, the Ruin Zone, and the Forest Zone. And each of those consists of 3 stages and then a boss fight.
Is the boss fight separate from the third zone?
Yes, they break them up into different things. All right, I'm just gonna type this in. Let's see the first boss. That says Mobaka.
It's an unreadable font.
Yes. And now, if I have done this, if I have parsed this correctly, this should take us immediately into the boss fight. Once it loads the boss fight.
Immediately into the boss fight.
Immediately in MSX time can mean upwards of several minutes, but yeah, no. Again, like a lot of work and love clearly went into this product. They clearly consider it to be like a full real video game.
What? Yeah, huh? So Konami was pretty big on the MSX, right?
I really thought the candy would be one I could like bounce back into them. I guess we're not doing that boss fight. Yeah, it's Alright, let's see a different zone. You want to see Ice Zone, Ruin Zone, or Forest Zone? How about that?
Ruin Zone.
All right, let's ruin it. Again, a labor of love, but a product of pure hate, contempt for the player at the end of the day. There's also those bonus stages. I don't think we'll be seeing any of those. I don't know if we'll be able to complete a stage.
I'm asking you. I don't know the answer to this. Do you know why Moai heads show up so fucking much in video games?
No.
Yeah,
the answer to that question is no.
I know it's Konami. I know Konami is why.
Well, I mean, Super Mario Land had Moai heads.
That's true. This Shaka says because they're cool. Yeah.
Good enough reason for me. Quit asking questions.
I feel like Konami's Moai heads probably predate Super Mario Land.
Oh, it would be like Parodius, right? I mean, would that be the origin point, the nexus point for Konami's obsession with Moai heads?
Could have been before that too, but Parodius is definitely where it like exploded.
Where it crystallized,
Uh,
much like an ice crystal.
Bob in chat says, I think I remember hearing the Grady's team went on vacation to Easter Island once, and they just really liked the Moais there. And original Grady's had the Moai too. Says.
Fuck. My kingdom for rewind. When I'm stripped of my rewind powers, we don't make it very far in the games. It's almost like I thought that was a platform. I literally I made the same mistake
the
20 seconds ago. Jesus wept, Cass. Come on, get it together. And give me a ring, please, game. Just the one.
No. All you need is one in these games. Okay, so your attack is really more of like an active stomp than it is just jumping on something.
No spin dash.
Because I feel like you're getting acceleration or downwards acceleration when you do that.
Maybe a little bit.
Maybe I'm just imagining things. But... Johnny Baggett says that when you die, can you let the game over screen music play for a little bit? He wants to hear it. He did say he thought it sounded like House of the Rising Sun on Pan Flute.
Cool drink? I just have a hunch if I jump all the way left, I'll... Ooh. Beginning of the stage. You're
the kind of person who enjoys a cold drink on a cold day?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, same. I know people who can't do that, but I just can't have hot drinks. I hate really hot stuff, so I'm always having something cold.
All right, game. What do you want me to do here? Not that. That might do it for Sonic. You know, let's see another boss. that might be fun.
Let's hear this. It might be, I hear what Johnny's hearing, but I'm not sure if it is.
That's as much as I'm giving you. You don't have time to sit around listening to music. We got to play these goddamn games. Which, I mean, keep playing this goddamn game until I am satisfied. We can either fight the cave dragon, Kubito. The boss of the... Oh, no, I'm sorry. Gandhara is the boss of the Ice Zone. Cave Dragon's the boss of the Ruin Zone. And then Dark Metal is the boss of the Forest Zone, the final boss.
I feel like we should see the final boss.
Yeah, sure. I'm sure it'll go well as well.
That always what bugged me about like the final bosses in like the early Sonic games is that they just gave you no rings. They're like, yeah, fuck it. You have one try. Have fun.
Good luck. All right. Wish me luck. I'm going to need it. And even then, I would also need skills that I do not have to... Uh-huh.
Professor Gascan chat says, congratulations, Bagging Hall of Fame is the top streamer of Sonic by view count. How did I just now peg that the Lose a Life theme is shaving a haircut?
All right, game.
I'm gonna be honest, this is not what I expected. I heard the boss was called Dark Metal. I was thinking Metal Sonic, but, you know, that's on me for expecting Sonic in Sonic.
So I'm not seeing a way to damage these guys. I assumed from the first boss fight and the way that this is playing out that it has something to do with waiting for like the right projectile to come out and then bouncing it back. Okay. But every object I've tried to intersect with has just resulted in that. So I think that will have to do it for Sonic as part of our bootleg blast. Ooh, fade out as that music plays.
I have to step away for a moment, so why don't you introduce the game?
Oh, I will. I fully intend to. Our next game of the night takes us out of the NES, out of the MSX as well, and into the era of the Super Nintendo. For our next game is Sonic the Hedgehog 4, released sometime in 1996. Developed by the Twin Eagles Group, another somewhat prolific unlicensed games vendor operating out of Peruvian territory. That would be Peru, I believe. They're responsible for a game that has appeared on our Chance Time program before by the name of Flubber, which is a hack of Jelly Boy. I think they put out Sextris, the sexy version of Tetris. Tarzan. They did a Titanic game as well. The SNES one would have been like a hack of what, like SOS for the SNES, and they redo that as Titanic. So the running theme here is that whereas Hummer Team were making games from the ground up on occasion, Twin Eagles Group were just doing asset swaps. We're just doing sprite swaps. We're just doing it so that they would latch on to a commercially released game, break it open, swap out the main character, maybe a couple other assets, put a new title screen in, and then put it out on a cartridge. So, Sonic the Hedgehog 4, not to be confused with the fake Sonic the Hedgehog 4, the 2000s one. This is the real one because it came out in 1996, so it was right in line with the timeline of Sonic video games coming out at the time. So let's see what this is. I know what this is. I have a feeling a lot of our regulars, a lot of bad game aficionados in chat probably know what this is. But for the benefit of folk who do not, get ready. Also, what do I use for this? What audio should I... What level of ducking? I guess we'll find out. I guess I'll find out momentarily. I'm going to have to adjust this on the fly. Actually, I nailed it. Let's re-roll that title screen. Awesome. Incredible title screen on display here. Incredible option screen as well. Okay, type A. This is an SNES. We got 4 buttons. We have jump, kick, and use. Can't wait to see how these correspond to the gameplay. Get into it. So, Speedy Gonzales was a character as part of the Looney Tunes.
What was that noise?
That was some sampled speech in our game. In our Speedy Gonzales reskin. Yeah, rings don't count for health in this. You gotta ignore traditional Sonic rules. Since this is a Speedy Gonzales, whatever game he had on SNES is a reskin of that.
You know, if you didn't tell me what console this was, and you asked me what is this a reskin of, I probably would have guessed Awesome Possum.
Well, you know why Speedy Gonzales? Can you think about it for a second?
What's that noise? What's the question? Why Speedy Gonzales? Because there was a Speedy Gonzales game, like you were saying? Or
Speedy Gonzales is also fast. That's what I'm trying to get at here, because he was also fast, so they just literally thought,
okay,
well, who's a character who's fast? Oh, Speedy Gonzales? Yeah, okay, we'll just put Sonic over that. Yeah.
I thought you were implying that, like, Awesome Possum and Speedy Gonzales had the same developer.
Fuck. No. Though this game,
Sonic!
Even in its original Speedy Gonzales capacity, this is not a good platformer. Oh, I can't miss Mario.
I feel like a lot of the Looney Tunes games weren't.
A particularly high craft. Yeah, you might be onto something.
Johnny Baggett says, I think Awesome Possum ran not even close to this smooth frame rate. No, it didn't. But I wouldn't put it past, like, people making bootleg games to improve upon Awesome Possum.
Why'd I jump? That was stupid of me. Because I wanted those rings. I got too greedy. My kingdom for health. Give me a heart. If rings don't count, give me a goddamn heart.
Was that Tails calling your name out?
Maybe Mario. Wait, let's find out. I guess I'm gonna die anyway.
That'll kill you.
Okay, checkpoints. Mario is checkpoints.
All right.
So that is good to know.
I feel like it would have been fun if Mario and Sonic at the Olympics like referenced this game.
Yeah, do you remember me, Mario? I rescued you back in the day. I feel like there's a mechanic I'm missing. I know there's the use. I think you can pick up objects and toss them as an attack of some sort, but I also don't know what would count as objects I can pick up.
I had a kick button.
Yeah, well, that's been fucking useless. Again, not a good game at its core. A rotten foundation. Oh, yeah, that's fucking fair.
I have to wonder, like, I've never seen the Speedy Gonzales game that this is based on. And I'm wondering if, like, Sylvester the Cat is in that game, and how that would work here. You would just fight Sylvester the Cat, or there are bespoke enemies they made for this. I've never seen this. Like, I know there are people in the chat who know about this. You obviously knew about this. I've never seen this one.
Hey, made it through a stage. Oop. So I think that is Speedy Gonzales' palette. Oh, being applied to Sonic there. Showing
That
just
looked
again
like-
how quality a product this is.
That looked like Metal Sonic with a Tails paint scheme.
And so it continues. Should probably attempt to get past one act of this. Even if it kills me. Repeatedly. I swear you're supposed to be able to pick stuff up and toss it. Hey, there's a heart. And I made the kick work.
This Assassin's for the groan sound was one of us. Probably. We make those sounds a lot around here. I was making one of those sounds because, like, I walked out of this room to go do something, and right before I came back in, like, I was covered in dust somehow. I don't know where I was that was so dusty.
Was that an HP up? Does that give us a fourth heart in perpetuity? It'd be nice if so. So I imagine no. I imagine that we'll lose that, like, almost instantaneously when we take damage. There's also those jumps I don't know how to make to access things that I really wish I could. But, I mean, we only have so many fucking buttons here.
Maybe it's like... I'm gonna say this and it's gonna be fake. Maybe it's like Mario 2 where you crouch down and you charge up and then you jump. No.
No spin dash either. Huh? Question mark? See, that's a subtle way of pointing you downwards. An idea not had by the team at Twin Eagles, but by the original game developers. Cool to have two checkpoints right next to each other like that. Very useful.
I'm a little lost here, but I think chat is speculating on what a Sonic Cross Mario platformer would be like.
And that sounds like something that chat would think about. Anything to not look at this game, anything to distract themselves from this. God, I wish that were me. Huh?
Does this game even have bosses? Does this game have levels beyond the Red Forest?
It definitely has levels beyond the Red Forest. This might also be incompletable, depending on what version of this ROM you find. I think there are, variants that are in different states of working, and I could not tell you which one I have, honestly. We've reached an impasse.
Patch back in the day.
Oh wait, no, there we go. I want those rings. Okay, we still have the outlines of the heart ups we collected, so that's nice at least. This is a little less nice, in that I'm getting lost.
Oh, there's a spot for you.
Fuck that. Yeah, if we want to make progress here, just accept that I gotta constantly be rewinding, folks at home. By the way, up and jump does not make you jump higher, because I saw that in chat as a recommendation. Also, I swear there's like stuff you can pick up in this to use as weapons, giving you like a little bit of recourse. Or am I thinking of the other Speedy Gonzales hack? Say something nice, huh? Ow. Did I survive one of those by just kicking in the air? No, I hallucinated that. Something nice about this is that it does move reasonably fast. For whatever that may be worth. I don't know why that arrow would point in that direction. I think, oh, because that's progress. Because we've reached something like an impasse, a dead end, potentially.
They found a way to fake blast processing through software.
Ooh. And people say I don't have the platforming skills. No, I don't. What I don't have is navigational skills, because at this point I feel like hopelessly lost trying to find the end of the stage.
Yeah, like this doesn't feel like. Never mind. I was gonna say, this doesn't feel like the right way to go, given like general video game logic. But
My kingdom for yellow paint. I mean, they straight up had the signs that say "Go this way, this way." Hey, you were worried about there only being red forest. Check this out. It's slightly bluish now, and there's a boss.
That's not a boss that makes sense either for Sonic or Speedy Gonzales.
You gotta fill a game with stuff.
Is that a cat or a wolf?
Wow, she's beautiful.
Where'd he go? Ow. All right, well, let's game this out. He's gonna come down here. Okay. When can I hit him?
And God, that's a lot of health on that boss.
Oh my god, yeah, they do have his health on screen, don't they? And the fact that he fucks off and goes off screen for such prolonged periods of time is also... Ugh.
The rule of 3 was made for a reason. It works. Lawhead says it looks like a palette swap Sylvester. Yeah, it looked like really buff Sylvester with a different color scheme.
Alright, bottom left corner. Came in too early. Oh, wait. Hey. I wonder if it's possible to hit him when he jumps there, when he's briefly, before he goes off screen, if I can get a second hit in.
This seems very strict with when you're allowed to hit him, so I would doubt
strict is the name of the game here.
Because, like, now it's too soon to hit him. Now it's too soon to hit him. That's fine.
Then I gotta get the fuck out of there before he spin dashes into me.
But I doubt it would, like, be generous enough to give you a freebie there.
Gotta dodge the acorns, as well as him. Tall order. You know what? If I go down here, is this a relatively safe spot? Behind the tree, perhaps? Oh my god. At least he goes that way. And I'm going to assume he's going to go right this time. I'm assuming that he's alternating on each turn. So if I stand here, all I gotta worry about are the acorns, right?
Yeah.
He went the other way. So I guessed wrong, which means that now I wanna do this so I can actually have a chance to hit him again. I mean, he'll die in one hit. Unless he has health beyond the health bar. Eh? Oh, what fanfare.
Boss defeated.
Let's see what the next zone would look like. All right, Speedy Gonzalez takes on Castlevania.
Even the context of like a Speedy Gonzalez game, this is weird.
Yes. Oh, by the way, it's a fucking maze. We have to go up through doors. So we will not be playing much of this.
Corpses.
It's a little fucking morbid. Oh. That's what happens when you
Sonic having
use...
a good time.
Yep.
Oh, foreground elements. I thought we weren't playing a Nintendo game for a second.
Not
Actually,
a foreground.
Not foreground because
Yep.
you go in front of it.
So I drank that potion, which gave me a spicy breath, which allowed me to activate that cauldron. So that's what the use button is for. It's for environmental stuff like that. And not for picking up objects to throw them. That was very much off base. I'm sure there would have been a bespoke animation in the Speedy Gonzalez game where you see him scarfing down the drink. Oh, come on! Rude is what this game is.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
That's a spicy meatball!
Finally, an appropriate use of that redeem, of the spicy meatball redeem.
Don't go too fast, because that's going to be... Yeah, that's where you came from.
Is this where I came from? Yeah, that is absolutely
Yes,
where I came from. But the rings, though. I want the ring. Wait, hold on, hold the phone.
Yes.
Who's that graphic? Is that anything particular?
Like
do you think
that's like a Sylvester, I think, in a weird way.
Great, one of
This
these.
is kind of Sonic-like.
Yeah, the worst parts of
That's-
Sonic.
I like that stage on the airship, where you had like the spinny things.
Was that Battery Zone?
Yes, yes. Great song on that stage too. Almost as good as this song.
Almost. Keyword almost. Wow, we sure haven't rescued Mario in a while. Which means that we don't have a checkpoint for a while.
I mean, good for him, I guess. He's keeping himself out of trouble.
You know, if we had Sonic and Mario was missing, would have solved that shit straight away.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
So did you hear that? Did you hear that music
Yeah.
cue? That. In case you didn't know what game this was ripping off, in case you didn't know what property this originally was. So, you know, this is
You know, the
cute.
music is representative of Mario's heritage.
This hack overall, this unlicensed product sold for money, is it borders on the cute scale, which is to say that, you know, we're sort of like infantilizing it a little bit. We're not taking it necessarily very seriously. You know, it's good for them that they made this. You know, they really didn't put much work into it, since it is just a sprite swap. But you know, it's adorable that they tried. I don't want to play any more of it. So that will do it for Sonic 4. No thanks to that sound effect. No thanks to that sound effect continuing to play. We move ever along. And we're still in the year... Actually, you know what? Let's move on to 1997. Let's move forward another year. You know, again, speculatively. For all the following games... that we're going to play for the next set of games. If you check the databases, the way they explain the release dates is there is no reason to believe this released after 1998. Is the way they describe it. So take that as you will. I'm just pretending like these came out in 1997 so we can have a nice consistent block of games here. And we are returning. We're going backwards a console generation. We're returning to the NES. For a trilogy of games, which begins with... I have these slides out of order. I'm just looking behind the scenes, and the first thing I notice is that I have these games out of order, I believe. Fuck it, who cares? Let's just keep going. We'll go ahead and play Super Sonic V 1997. Also known as Super Sonic & Knuckles 5. is an alternative name for this. When you get to this part, when you get to some of these games have like 7 or 8 different names apiece, which makes them that much harder to track. They can have any number of different developer names. These ones definitely appear on multi-carts a lot, and this one is, in fact, another Hummer Team banger. So, let's see it. We see Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails on the cover. So I'm assuming this will be like maybe like a Sonic 3 type thing. Maybe we'll have some character select. Bring that onto the NES will be very impressive of them. I can't wait to see how they pull it off. Certainly have a title screen. So Sonic and Knuckles. Could be Sonic and Knuckles.
It's like right in Spring Yard Zone. It's kind of an interesting choice, but all right.
Well, that's actually the demo. So they just picked a random stage for the demo, clearly. So we'll clearly start in... Oh, yeah, no. We start in Spring Yard Zone. So this is Somari. This is just Somari, but with actual Sonic the Hedgehog in. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's not. That's Sonic. That's not Somari.
Oh, yeah, you're right. What did I... So this is the Somari ROM with Sonic edited back in. At this point, Hummer Team were just unafraid to put Sonic in their Sonic game. And because these were made for multi-carts, these different releases would all have different starting zones. Why do you think they would do this? There is an answer. There are speculative answers.
Yeah. So, a lot of these multi-carts would be like 144 games in one, 1,000 games in one. So if you take Mario as an example, if you had Super Mario on one of these multi-carts, they would have Super Mario 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, blah, blah, blah. And each one you select just started on a different level. And once you got past like all the levels in those, then it would just be glitch levels. So it was to fill out the space on. It was to fill out the space on those multi-carts by having each starting level be a bespoke "quote-unquote" game.
That is correct. You are correct in that assessment. That is a major reason for a decision the likes of this. Fuck, I should have spin dashed sooner, and then immediately got killed anyway because this is still brutally difficult in the Somari tradition. Another reason is that it potentially helps in its standalone cartridge capacity if you're selling these a la carte. That, I think the cynical assumption that someone like a Hummer Team might have made as they were doing this would be that people weren't actually going to play the game, at least not past the first level. So you could potentially get away with just taking the levels you've already made, the later levels in your original release, starting the game there, and it might obfuscate the fact that you're buying the same game over and over again. Because what are they going to know? If the only level that little 5-year-old Timmy plays is going to be the first level, if he never makes it past that, then you can go ahead and put level 6 as the first level, and they'll never know. They won't know the difference. For all they're concerned, it's a new game. Because they haven't seen this yet.
I think I remember in that Dendy video I mentioned earlier that the guy was showing off like the Mario games where it was like Mario 53 or something like that, because it was just starting on like glitch levels. So you would load up this bespoke game, you would load up Super Mario 55, I can't wait to play Super Mario 55, and it just loads you into a level with no ground and you die immediately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's almost as if they didn't care about the quality of their product past a certain point. It's almost as if those multi-carts were very cynical and kind of just like tossed together. How did I get to Special Zone? I didn't have more than 50 rings or more than 100 rings for that matter.
Happened to me in first level Somari too.
You had more than 100 rings. You were actually doing fairly well, if I'm to recall correctly, past a certain point. You can see same special stages. Let me see, because I think you sped through this a little bit. I want to see if I can find a Chaos Emerald here. So maybe I'd be a bit more thorough.
Right. Oh, the timer's counting up. I feel like it was counting down when I was doing it, but maybe I was misreading it.
It was counting up.
Counting up? Alright. Well, I was in a rush because I figured I had, like, limited time. It's nice to see that Hummer Team finally got the license to Sonic to make it
Yeah,
they wanted.
Yeah, what's this doing in the bootleg section? Sega obviously approved this. Wait, hold on. I wonder if... No.
No, because it's like that, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if the Chaos Emeralds are there. But hey, we get to see a really long countdown now, because you got way more coins than I did.
I've made a huge mistake.
This is what I wanted to do when I did it.
If you wanted to speed run this, you'd have to collect a minimum of rings, right? That would be the key. That would be the secret.
In Sonic, yeah, in general, I think.
Fuck. You know, I'm just glad to have the spin dash back, honestly, after that Speedy Gonzalez hack. Ah, give me the ring. Come on, let me get the ring real quick. Thank you.
Vessel says, imagine if a company teamed up with a bootleg company just to do this sort of shit. Like, listen, we know you were making bootlegs, but how would you like to go official?
The genuine article. So, you know, these level designs, while they're obviously, like, very much inspired by the original Sonic level set, these are original levels in terms of their layout. I think all these stages have actually been mapped. If you go to, like, certain sprite databases, you can see the full maps for these stages. And they are large. They are big. That is not a positive. They become too big. And because they don't have things like, you know, the parts in Sonic where you go, like, inside the wall, where you're just, like, rolling, you're just like, it's like, you know, the automated spin dash as you go through like this entire like elaborate system of tunnels, and it spits you out the other end. I don't think they could do that. I don't think they had the technology or the know-how to implement something like that into this. And so the levels are more just like straightforward, more platforming, more combat encounters. But hey, we found a bumper zone. We found something like the pinball mechanics of,
Okay. Something on the chat is making me think of something. Imagine if... I'm going off of something Vesla says there. Imagine if, like, Sega was like, you know what? We're putting out a new Sonic collection. It's the Bootleg collection. We're selling it, and we'd like to see someone try to stop us from selling this.
Your move,
Right?
Hummer Team.
Because that's kind of the thing, right? If Sega were to take all these bootlegs, right, and then say, we are going to sell these for money, would there be any recourse by the people who made these things, considering their bootlegs, using Sega's IP?
You know, probably not. Also, there is actually an official, you know, I should have thought of this earlier, but fucking Tectoy. You want to talk about, I mean, I guess they weren't necessarily, like, unlicensed, and then they got the go from Sega. I think some games they made skirted on legality, like Duke Nukem 3D's license for their Sega Genesis version of Duke Nukem 3D was like tenuous at best. But you know, they eventually partnered with Sega to where they were, you know, the official distributor and manufacturer of Sega consoles in Brazil. And they certainly leveraged that to the fullest extent. So I suppose that's something like a precedent.
I was saying that basically what Nintendo did with Mario pornos to make sure no one can sell it. That's not what I'm talking about. Nintendo is not selling that. What I'm saying is, in a world in which Nintendo did sell that, and
in a world where Nintendo was cool and funny and did stuff for the bits.
Cool. I'll say more realistically, we're not talking about a porno. We're just talking about like a fan game or a bootleg, however you want to define that. I don't know. That's a weird, obvious. It's an almost pointless question because it would never, ever, ever happen.
It's a fun thought experiment. I'm fucking fast-forwarding through this.
Just trying to think of, like, the legality of it, like, what would happen legally is, like, an interesting question in my mind.
Well, you're also the person who you introduced a very famous to me anyway, Charkie's Law, as I call it, which is that the only way anyone can stop you from doing anything is to kill you dead in the streets. That, you know,
Yeah.
legally people can do whatever. You can try to take someone to court, but, you know, if you really want to stop someone from doing something, you just got to shoot them dead.
Yes. It's the only way to actually stop someone from doing something is with a gun. Is basically
Second
the
Amendment
thing.
Charkie over here. I didn't know you were such a big proponent of well-organized militias or what have you. Up we go. I get caught on the
Eventually.
wall there every
Yeah,
time.
it does seem like you get caught on like a solid object every now and then, or not a solid object, a flat object.
You know, they really tried with, like, you know, the amount of angled surfaces, loop-de-loops in the Green Hill Zone. Still incredibly sloppy work to where it's barely functional. But, you know, they tried, and that has to count for something, right? Oh, that's devious. Putting the springs at the end of those long ramps so you get bounced back into the spike balls. I mean, that is also a classic Sonic move. Sonic the Hedgehog 1 move, to just booby trap. Anytime you think you can go fast, anytime you think, like, wow, you know, I'm finally getting to play Sonic at speed, at pace, and the game's just like, haha, fuck you. That's the shit that makes Sonic the Hedgehog 1 just really unbearable and unpleasant to me, personally.
Sonic 1 is not a game that is particularly easy to go back to, I will say.
Unless you play the enhanced Game Boy Advance version of Sonic the Hedgehog, released in 2006 to commemorate Sonic's 15th anniversary, along with another game that will also be played on the show.
What anniversary of Sonic are we up to right now? Are we on a big one? Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, I don't think I'm
You
supposed
said
to
there
be
were
here.
places.
Oh.
You said there weren't places where you can go into the walls.
Well, clearly I am the fool. Please be a boss fight. Yes. Okay. All right, this fight.
It is Sonic's 35th anniversary. Thank you, chat.
Ooh.
That was fast.
You gotta try to get as much damage in as possible before he knocks out all of the platforms here. Got it. Let's see what stage it drops us off on next.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious if it just drops you off on, like, Green Hill Zone. Immediately.
We'll find out.
No, Labyrinth Zone. Ooh, how's this feel? Oh, jeez. I got shot with a cannon.
Banging soundtrack, though. Ooh, that TV was vibrating.
I have a very distinct memory of Labyrinth Zone in Sonic 1, which was playing the game and getting up to the boss fight. And right at the boss fight, I had to leave the house because my family was going to go see Sister Act in theaters. So I had to pause the thing and then come back home and then really prep myself to get right into a boss fight. I don't know why that's such a strong memory.
Did you win?
I don't remember. Probably not, but maybe I did. I don't know. I definitely didn't get much further past that because the Genesis was in my parents' room for some reason, and that was about the time they're going to bed, so I had enough time to probably try the boss and then be like, okay, I gotta turn the whole thing off.
Oh, there is Big Air.
Magic Meows asked, how was Sister Act? I liked it. As a kid, I liked it. I don't know how well it holds up.
In case it needs to be said, by the way, this does suck. This is no fun. Slowing the game speed down by half is not a tool for. Is not the key to improving this game.
Right, that is true for all Sonic games. The water levels suck.
Oh my god.
Also, the way they do it, it is harder to tell what's ground and what isn't than it should be.
Yeah, I mean, kudos to them for having like such elaborate tile mapping here, for having such a wide range of background assets, really filling the thing out. It does not help when all of it is using the same color palette, and is therefore imparsable as what is foreground, what is background.
Oh, God. Okay. No, you are going to the side. Okay. I was worried that you were going to have to climb all the way back up.
I mean, I'd have just fucking rewound at that point if there was... I think we've reached the bottom because there's no water there. That'll do it.
Yay.
I wanted a clean exit. I wanted an escape from, oh yeah, there's no checkpoints here either, so... Nope.
No Marios to save.
Thank you. That will do it for Super Sonic 5 1997. Why don't it? Which means we get to move on to a new game. What will that game be? Another NES game from around the same time period. This is from Super 7-in-1, or many multicarts. Again, whenever I saw multicarts, just assume that it could be like on any one of 100 different multicarts that existed. This is just the cover I found that happens to contain Sonic 3D Blast 6, also known as Sonic 6.
Can we play the Shin-Chan game?
Unfortunately not. I only have the isolated ROM here. I do not actually have the multicart on hand. Is that the Game Boy Color Bomberman cover right there?
Oh, I wouldn't know.
I remember playing the Game Boy Color Bomberman at a certain point, which is like platformer-esque, which is strange. And that's clearly Super Mario Land in the bottom right corner. Infant School, which is my favorite alternate name for Sailor Moon. And New Human, which is my favorite alternate name for DuckTales. So, Sonic 3D Blast 6. Let's check it out. It'll be curious to see them trying to go the isometric route. This, I should mention, is another Hummer Team game. And, you know, they're competent hands, so I'm assuming that this will do some really cool stuff with the tech. See, I mean, look. 3D Blast. We got the flickies. A fairly impressive title screen. Ooh, even a bespoke... This would be the option screen. This is where you can...
The Denny's coloring book... Oh,
yeah, it's just Somari again. It's just it's not the Hedgehog, but start from stage 2. I told you we'd come back to Marble Garden. I told you we would eventually return.
But the flames are blue now. That when they were appearing on that platform.
You know what? Why am I still fucking playing this? Your turn. You go. I paused it.
Okay.
Your favorite zone. Favorite act.
Not my favorite, but I do like it.
You told me privately that this is your favorite. That, you know, when you think of Sonic, you think of Marble Garden.
I remember, like,
you have to go left,
trying to get up there a lot.
I get you. I'm picking up what you're laying down.
Thing is, the way the scroll works is I'm way too close to the left side of the screen here.
Yeah, almost as if this game was designed for scrolling to the right, and they did not correct themselves to account for parts of the game where you'd have to scroll left. Also, this blue and pink is like old school DOS color palettes.
This is a fun color palette to draw in. I've done pixel art in this. I like it. The little bit of transgender vibes I like to put into some of my art. I noticed that they don't have the pushing blocks that they usually have in this
Thank God! They also don't have the crush walls, the pipes or whatever, that come down from the ceiling and squeeze you to death. Very streamlined take.
Oh no. Aww.
I'll rewind you, because, again, no checkpoints.
What is the timing on this?
Now. Yep. Ooh, well done.
Like 1 coin, at least. Oh, whoa. That was a spike coming out of that. I didn't even parse that.
Yeah, it's almost as if it's white against
Asshole.
some bright bits of the black background there, so this blends right in.
Please let there be coins. Okay, oh, damn it. All right, I'll get those coins.
Spin
Come
dash. Spin dash?
What?
For it. Yep.
on.
Better.
That worked. Here.
See, folks,
There.
you know, even if you have rewind, it's still entirely possible to, the struggle with this bad design with cruel one solution.
That ate my input.
Just because we have the liberty of infinite instantaneous retries. Don't make life
Coin. Oh,
that much
well,
easier.
end the level.
Will they still give you the special stage anyway? Don't see why they wouldn't.
See. Start the game over. No.
Notice brief reprieves from the action between stages. Which is a very clumsy way, unnecessary way to do that.
Would you rather play this or Sonic 3D Blast?
Ooh, oh, that's tough.
And I had Sonic 3D Blast.
As did I. I had it for Sega Saturn.
I had it for Genesis, but I don't think I was a fan of it. I played it a lot because I had it. I don't recall actually liking it.
Is that? Hold on. I want you to get that box.
Sure.
The one, yeah, to the left there.
There's
Maybe
bad
easier
air
said than
control in
done.
this, so.
Oh, there's also a spike. The problem is that there's a spike
Yes.
that comes down there, so you need to stand on that, then hold left. Yep. There we go. There's,
Alright, yeah,
there's
it's
a
just
shield
the
for you. Because that's the 10 ring. I always assumed that that box was the shield, because it looks
Lost
like
the
the
shield.
silver shield, but... I think I'd rather play Sonic 3D Blast. Honest to God.
Yeah. The thing is behaving very strangely. This is going to come back, isn't it? Oh, no, it's not. Okay.
You know why? You know why I play Sonic 3D Blast? It's got tails in it. Very sporadically.
Kinda.
He lets you
Yeah.
into the bonus stages, but he's there.
He does exist, yes.
Improves the ambiance, as they say. Hey, look, no lava chasing you, so there's no stakes to any of this.
Oh, the soundscape is alarming at times.
I think the most frustrating thing to me about all these Sonic bootlegs...
Oh, that's not... Okay, yep.
About these ones that are coming out in a post-Sonic 2, post-Sonic 3 world that have the likes of Knuckles and Tails on so many of the covers. Just run through the lava while you have flashing, while you have invincibility frames. That's how I always did this. I always just fucking took damage to save time during this shit on the Genesis. I'm just like, fuck this. I'm not waiting around for fucking blocks.
Okay, that worked out. I didn't know where the end of that was going to be, if it was going to be too high for me to jump out of it.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Spikes? No? Okay. Okay, that can't go up there. That thing... Like, wait, where was it? I'm sorry, there was that thing over there.
The game forgot.
See, this is the situation I was worried about. Okay.
A rightful concern, a rightful worry, I would say. You can jump to that, yeah.
I think in the original, those spike things would come out and you had to land on them like I just did. I don't know why I'm trying to, like, apply the logic of the original Sonic.
Yeah, this
Dude.
was slightly
What's this
inspired
one
by
called?
the original Sonic, you know.
What was this one called again? Sonic Blast 5?
Sonic 3D Blast 6.
Sonic 3D Blast 6. Right. 5 was a totally different Sonic CD.
There is a Sonic 3D Blast 5 that we'll play tonight, by the way, after Sonic 3D Blast 6. Because the naming
Okay.
convention for these things is ridiculous.
So chronologically, the in the plot, 5 actually comes after 6 here.
Yeah, the prequel game. Star Wars squeakles. Gotta go back.
I feel like I've looped the level. Oh, that was mean.
It feels like it. And, you know, honestly, we're maybe spending too much time on these games. We still have a lot of games to go tonight, so maybe, just maybe, I end your misery here, and we move on.
I've been here.
I've been here before. It could also just be that they're recycling
Yes.
parts of the level here. You know, that's as good a reason to speculate and call it here. I'm going to say you're free of Sonic 3D Blast 6 for now. So what are next? Let's find out once I find my slideshow. Hey, it's Sonic 3D Blast 5. This one's for the Game Boy. We are changing consoles. This is not just going to be another Hummer Team re-release where it starts from, I don't know, the third act of Sonic the Hedgehog 1. This is Sonic 3D Blast 5 for the Game Boy. This one was released sometime in around before or after the year 1998. Developed and published by one Maconsoft. That's M-A-K-O-N Soft. And let me just double check I don't have like a manual or anything for this. Okay, cool. Yeah, we're good to go. So we move now to the Game Boy. We move now to Nintendo's handhelds. Curious how all these Sonic games have been coming out for Nintendo consoles. That's curious. I guess we played the Amstrad game. We played that one MSX game. So I guess those are exceptions to the rule as I'm stating it now. Yeah, that should be the right sound levels. And let's get it on. Incredible cinema at the opening there.
You know those like warning signs on machinery where it's like there's the two cogs and the hand getting mangled in between them, and it's like, don't put your hand here? I feel like this audio matches with that imagery.
Oh, it even has the bespoke start screen for no fucking reason. Going to Green Hill Zone. Yeah, this is a version of Sonic the Hedgehog for the Game Boy.
How is this House of the Rising Sun?
I don't know why I had to jump to collect these rings that should be on ground level, but... You know, I'm going to say I'm missing a sense of speed here. Believe it or not, this does not play particularly smoothly or quickly. I think we're invincible,
says
though.
this looks like a port of Sonic Blast from the Game Gear. Which, yeah, I can see that. It's been a long ass time since I played Sonic Blast on the Game Gear, because that one also sucks.
Yeah, that's official, and it just sucks absolute ass. It's way uglier than this. I'll say that this is cleaner.
Yeah. Yes,
Huh?
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. What killed me
no
there?
rings.
Oh,
That
I
guy.
see. You get splashed back, and then it's like, once you land, then it's like, so you're not dying in place. Which is confusing. Also, I thought I was still invincible. Did you see the sparkles on me? I assumed I was still invincible there. So I call not my fault. This really is like torture in terms of audio. Kind of in terms of gameplay,
misophonic,
too.
yeah.
Oh, just let me spin dash. Stop moving, Sonic, so I can get you moving. I don't think the spin dash does damage. I think the spin dash is just a trap. I don't think you can jump and hurt them either unless you like land like right on top of them. Like, it's breaking the rules of Sonic. You get like why you get what's happening here, right? Why I'm so bad at this? Because, you know, there's a part of your brain that tries to play it like a real Sonic game. Because I mean, it's Sonic on the screen.
I wonder if this works under Mario rules, where you only do damage if your velocity is going downwards.
I'll get through these screens as quick as possible.
Oh, fuck! Wait, I know where I've heard that sound bit. On the... I'm sorry, can you go back? Can you rewind a little bit?
Sure, then we'll have a lot to say about Green Hill Zone Act 2. Or Zone...
Oh, right here. This is the ending screen to Murder Dog 4, Murder Dog on Trial at the Hague.
That doesn't
This is the
shock me.
exact song they use.
Somehow not surprised. So again, Green Hill Zone 2. What stage is this? Is this like Flying Battery?
Kinda? Yeah, Flying Battery. Those things on the ground there. This music, not so much. Yeah, to the little mouse guys. This is absolutely 100% Flying Battery Zone.
I will say, someone redeemed to say something nice, so I can say something nice. I refuse to say anything nice about this until
No,
I'm
someone
forced
did
to.
redeem to say something nice, actually.
Oh,
We
very
haven't done it
handy.
yet.
These graphics aren't terrible. You can imagine, using the power of your mind palace, a world in which Nintendo just said, fuck it. Hey, Sega, you want to put out a Sonic game on Game Boy? And Sega said, yeah, sure, why not? We'll make a bunch of fucking money. Our Game Gear's not moving any fucking units at this point in 1990 whatever. And, you know, the game would play better than this. The game would certainly have played better than this, whatever Sega put out in that capacity. But maybe it would have looked something like this.
Pepperly says these graphics are pulled from the Game Gear games, but...
Well, there you go.
I don't... It sounded... Yeah.
Ooh, no iframes. Love it.
No, it's like Sonic 1. No iframes.
I don't want to go down there because I don't know how to get out of there. Thank God that worked. I chose the lesser of two evils as I perceived it. Oh, no.
I don't think it doesn't have a nose here.
I swear to God
goodbye.
I pressed jump. I think it's just dropping inputs on occasion.
Mhm.
Perisha thought I know you would look at a game like this and be like, dropped inputs? No, this looks way too professional. This looks way too smooth, way too reactive that there's no way that this would drop inputs, but alas. Fuck. Again, I'm assuming this is another game without fucking checkpoints, so... I would like to make it through the stage because I want to see what the fuck Green Hill Zone Part 3 looks like. You know? Is it just going to be Dr. Eggman? Is this going to be the final boss?
It's gonna be, Mr. Cave.
Get us back to the Marble
It's gonna
Garden.
be City Escape from Sonic Adventure 2.
Ugh. Hey!
I thought that enemy was gonna stick around. I thought he was gonna be fully capable of killing you during that.
Green Hill Zone 3, Act 3.
Green
Again?
Hill Zone. No, we're in the Sonic Forces timeline where Green Hill Zone is getting all fucked up because of Eggman doing stuff.
This is a present from me.
Oh, okay. Something that's very hard to describe here. Thank you for putting out a gift sub, by the way, Mega Drivers. Is that when you hit something like a box or whatever, then you land on a platform, it pushes you to the left or right a little bit, which pushes you off the platform. So if there's ever a TV on a small platform, that shit is knocking you off to the side.
So
Also
it
the
displaces you, so you can't like stay in the same location as something else.
Yeah. Come on! It's impossible to describe how badly the momentum and the physics of this work, or should perhaps say don't work.
What is that riff from? There was a riff in the song back there that was like, or a melody in the song back there that was like from something I have played before.
Well, I can tell you that the dun 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 is from the Sonic 3 data select screen. Like that melody. That's just, there's no way out of there. There's nothing I could do there. I made the mistake of going down there, and there's just no way out of there.
Here, let me try this just so I can feel how bad it is. Okay, yep, Forward? Okay. Oy. Well,
here, I'll give you another go. Good luck.
He just stops in air. Oh, okay. Wow, I definitely had walked off the ledge. Okay, I need to remember what I said earlier, that this is Mario 1 rules on jumping on enemies. I think as long as I'm moving downwards. Oh, fuck. Okay. Don't- I feel like I'm rolling dice every time I make a jump, especially to the side.
I see Clip the Gesture in chat say, Gamecom Sonic Jam soundtrack sounds like it's being played underneath a bathtub, which makes it considerably less offensive to the ears. That is true. It's a bad soundtrack. I especially love the way the Gamecom soundtrack, because it can only handle one audio channel at a time. So every time you pick up a ring, it stops the music, so it can play the ring pickup sound effects. That's
what
a
am I
fun
supposed
part.
to do?
Yeah, good fucking question. You could try a blind jump.
You might have an idea. I have a dumb idea.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of, like, dead ends in this.
No, this is fine, right here.
No, because, remember, you're dead the second you hit the second spike. I'm thinking that there's probably an alternate route, or there's something above this that you have to hit up. Oh, wait.
Oh, I see.
Invincibility?
Yep.
If it functions.
No.
Oh, what a piece of shit.
I think we're stuck. I think that's it.
Yeah, that's gonna do it for. It's impossible to keep track of the names of these. Sonic 3D Blast 5, and what a 3D blast it fucking was.
I will say I am very happy to have just randomly come across the origin of that one soundbite from Murder Dog 4.
Hey,
I did not expect that tonight.
And we put the work in. Speaking of putting the work in, we got another Game Boy game to play. Will this be better or worse than the one we just played? It's a different developer. I'll tell you that this was developed by Sonic World, the credited developer, which can be literally anyone. It can be literally any developer operating under one of many different aliases. But if the last game was Sonic 3D Blast 5, we now move forward in the timeline to Sonic 6. The Sonic 6. I will confess,
made this one.
This cover is a bit of a fake. There is a cover for this bootleg that is this key art, that Sonic 6 logo, but it's a tall box. But this is the more high-res image. The one I have seen was like incredibly low res. It's at an angle. I corrected a lot of the cartridges. Like all the cartridge art you've seen tonight, they were all like taken like on a carpet at like a 45-degree angle. So I had to manually make them transparent PNGs and skew the images so they look like straight on looking at a cartridge. So I've been secretly working behind the scenes to improve how each of these look as much as is possible. But this one is just I'm just gonna go with the community, the fan art version of the box here, just for image clarity's sake. So this is...
It has link cable support too.
No, it fucking doesn't. Fucking liars. And I bet they don't even have that official Nintendo Seal quality either. Shame. Yeah, so this is another 1998-esque release, give or take. Again, no exact science on this stuff. But we will see. Will this just be the same Game Boy game? Will this just be more of Sonic 3D Blast 5, but starting from a different stage? Is Sonic World just another name for Makin' Soft? Let's rewind. Let's see that. So what do you think this is?
Very jaunty Sonic music.
It's a very merry melody, I'll say that much. No, don't. Oh.
This isn't Crazy Castles, is it?
Not quite. Let's do new game. So take a second guess.
Oh. I think I get it. Yeah, there probably was a Game Boy version. This wasn't there.
Different game. Different Speedy Gonzales game. I recall this Speedy Gonzales game being slightly better. So it might be a slightly more playable game. I take it back. Fuck this. Oh, I'm trying to... You see what I'm trying to do here?
Yes.
Ooh.
Now you got it. Whoop.
Ooh. Okay, no health.
Okay, no jumping on enemies.
And maybe this is worse than the already awful SNES Speedy Gonzales game.
Speedy Gonzales loves cookies.
I think these are meant to be cheese wheels. Oh, man, my kingdom for a spin dash to go under that. My kingdom for any sort of recourse. Because as it stands, I just have to literally time this out. Ooh. Frame perfect.
If we're basing this even off of, like, the original Speedy Gonzales game, why are we not having jump on enemies? Why are we not doing that? Come on.
Because they thought they were being
Like, no
unique and
attacks?
different. Can I jump on the rope? No, the ropes are just... You can't grab them. What are we doing here?
You said they're cheese wheels. Chat is saying they're cheese rings. They're cookies. Look at them when they're on screen again. They're definitely cookies.
You give a mouse a cookie. Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
What was the message of you give a mouse a cookie? Is it like, don't ever do nice things for people?
Yeah, it's be
That's the point of that
cruel.
book?
Oh, come on.
Good guess.
Okay.
I think you need to jump over it. It's just going to be a weird timing. Or you could rewind.
Spit us out up there. We have slight air control. Which
Not
is,
enough, apparently.
you
Can't
know?
even parse what these things are supposed to be.
Oh.
Dogs?
Oh, they're like wheels. See this? They're sending me
are
in
they
that
pushing
direction.
you like conveyor belts?
Yes. It took me a while. It took me too long to flag onto that fact.
Usually conveyor belts, they show that by moving them.
They were trying to show arrows, but it's hard to parse. I can't crouch, so this is... Yeah, whatever the name of this Speedy Gonzales game is, hit me up with it, because this sucks. I gotta make sure I have it tagged as a bad game in my own internal database, the original version of this.
It might just be called Speedy Gonzales.
Ugh. Okay. It's like you said, like rolling the dice. And so many of these bad games, so many of these bad bootleg games really are just like anytime you move forward, it really is like rolling the dice because you never know what you're gonna find. What'll be on the other side of the screen.
That classic Sonic motif.
Press start? Okay. I have the feeling it's gonna be more of the same. I know there's bosses here. and that you actually
Oh, you don't
fight
have
the
any
boss.
attack.
You can jump on their heads, believe it or not. Normal enemies, no, but bosses, yes. Ooh, that's just shitty level design. I don't care. You know, that's not the bootleg's fault. That's just whoever made the original game. That is just lazy ass shit. Where it's just like, yeah, let's have them go through a bunch of doors. Just instead of like just being able to move forward and just like run like to the right. Just like let's slow them down. Let's stop them dead in their tracks.
I'm wondering if this is how the original levels were. Only because I looked at like the first thing of a long play and didn't look like. I mean, the assets were this, but didn't recognize the layout.
That's an alligator. I bet when they open their mouths, they do damage. Wow. Have I played a video game before? The answer is yes, as you can tell by my incredible knowledge of game mechanics. So, you know, just this is a brief reprieve while there's nothing to say about this game that hasn't already been said, besides the fact that it is awful. You know, even something as god-awful as this, a bootleg of an already bad video game, it is cool that, you know, this ROM exists, that it can be loaded up and played. You know, I'm glad for the fact this is preserved. Say something nice. I don't mind if I do. I'll continue on that track. That there has been some amount of work done to preserve these ROMs, these throwaway things that the original developers clearly didn't care about. That were just throwaway, you know, fly-by-night rookeries that they worked at, just churning out products to fill out multi-carts and whatnot. But the fact that the community cares, people can be somewhat nostalgic for these in their capacity as, I don't know, like, you know, someone had to have grown up with this. Someone had to have beaten this game as a child, legitimately on real hardware. Couldn't be me. Ooh.
You know, I'm looking at the original game, and I found this level now. The long player did not do this level first. I think the original game actually runs a little better. It's not surprising, I guess. That one actually seems to have more speed than this one does.
They took away Sonic's USP. I know Bob is saying that this game has a pretty good game over screen. Tell me, is this stage going to be a boss stage? I hope it is. If not, we'll just skip the game over.
I don't think so.
I don't want to go through any more goddamn trees.
Because I think you have to finish section 3 and then you get to the boss.
See that game over screen?
I'll say the boss is not super impressive, so.
Alright, bye, Sonic. Very good. Codeman38 says, this was developed by Citizen Software, aka PAL Developments, the same folk responsible for a lot of Hanna-Barbera licensed games for Amiga. So that's good. I'm glad we have that clarification. The resources I checked didn't go into any detail. I will say, as we fade out of this game and move on to our next, that I also leveraged, to a certain extent, the Bootleg Games wiki, which is lacking in a few departments. I mean, it's at least like an earnest, it's a solid effort at documenting this stuff in many cases, but it's also, you know, very much lacking. Oh, Codeman saying the original Speedy game, that is. Okay. Point of clarification. Thank you. So yeah, I guess the Sonic World still remains unknown. Who was behind that brain trust. And we'll never find out. Because a lot of these people, you know, don't want to be found, I imagine. But what I would like to find a new game for us to play. Perhaps.
I would like to find an energy drink. So why don't you introduce this next game?
All right. Our next game will be Super 1998 Sonic 6. This is a 1998 release. In roundabouts. For the Sega Genesis. I have no information on the developers or publishers of this one. I don't remember if there was just no information available or if I just simply forgot to fill it in. This game is also known as Sonic Jam 6 in different capacities. Again, all these games have like 3 or 4 different fucking names. So good luck trying to keep track of them. But yeah, this is finally going to take us to the Sega Genesis. We're finally coming back to Sonic's home console of choice. I hope they have a big old jamboree planned for him. Awesome title screen. And it certainly looks like a Sonic Jam. Which is to say that Sega Saturn Sonic Jam. You know, the one that all these things have drawn some amount of naming inspiration from that have Sonic Jam in the title. Oh! This is the demo playing, and it's revealing an issue with emulating this that may strike fear into the hearts of those who don't know how to go into advanced configuration. Man, it sure would be hard to play a Mario, a version of Super Mario Bros, without the ability to see the ground underneath you. Let's go ahead and fix that, why don't we? Core divided aspect ratio. System. Where's my overscan settings at? Oh, wait, I wonder if I could just... I wonder if this will work if I just do window scale. Otherwise, I'm going to change my core. Okay, there we go. You know, I should probably rewind. I should probably not skip past this awesome World 1-1 screen with a still from the opening to Sonic Blast, the FMV opening. So hey, Super Mario All-Stars. Got a lot of people playing Super Mario Bros. That did not have a chance to previously. And, you know, Sonic Jam on the Sega Saturn was an opportunity for people to play some older Sonic games they might not have had access to at that moment in time. Oh, curious. So, a real meeting of the minds here. A real brilliant decision was made to... Ooh, that's an interesting scoring opportunity. What I'm trying to get at is, you know, like, copying the Super Mario All-Stars aesthetic to bring Super Mario Bros. To the Sega Genesis in the form of a Sonic bootleg is there's so many layers there to sort through. I also wonder if this one began life, if this is just a sprite swap of an attempt to bring Super Mario Bros. Straight up to the Sega Genesis.
Well, you could throw Nintendo off the trail by making it Sonic, so... By the way, I fully expected we would not touch a single Sega system tonight.
No, I had to find one. Maybe even 2. By the way, we're going long tonight. Have you flagged that?
Oh, no, I flagged that. That's why when I was downstairs getting the energy drink, I also had, I've grabbed a Dulce Tres Leche I had in the fridge.
The jumping is so fucked in this. I mean, all the game feel here is resolutely awful. Believe it or not, this Sonic bootleg did not nail the nuances of either Mario or Sonic. I can still do this. And skip having to actually play the stage.
Oh, go to the Warper Zone.
Oh yeah, I'm going to. Oh, come on.
Well...
It should be like 2, 3, 4, right? Or like 3, 4, 5.
I think.
World 4-1.
Yep, there you go. Who needs a, you know, going down the pipe animation?
I mean, they didn't have sprites for Sonic doing that. You know, I'll take it. Oh, he is dropping stuff occasionally. And we turn back into Red Sonic. And people were worried we wouldn't play as any other characters besides Sonic tonight. Ye of little faith. Oh, I like how that destroyed the block. Except not really. Oh, no, come on. Let me get away with it. I want to see an underwater stage. I mean, I don't want to. It's gonna suck. but I would, for the sake of the show.
I don't know where an underwater stage would be. The route I take through Mario never touches water stages.
Are you just like warp zones through and through?
Yep.
Fuck. Alright, you can't run across these. I need to remember. And we can't because Sonic in this doesn't actually become small when he is in his weakened form. Something that even Sonic Bros on the NES figured out how to do. I mean, those are some basic sprite swaps. I guess there wasn't really much to figure out when they're just... Anyway, yeah, so if they're trying to ape the, like, Mario levels, like, wholesale, this is, you know, a complete one-to-one, as much as it was capable of those stages. There's going to be large swaths of these levels that are unplayable, that you can't do anything about. Because, hey, it turns out you can't go fucking small. We certainly don't have a spin dash to compensate for it.
Do you think Knuckles is offended that, like, the weaker version of Sonic in these games is red? He's like, what are you trying to say?
Feel bad for him.
Also, new headcanon. All these bootleg games were made by Tails. That he just wanted to make games about his best friend Sonic, and he did that by, like, making ROM hacks and shit. And they're all bad because he's not very good at making games.
He's a great mechanic and engineer.
Yes.
Game developer.
Not a great game designer, yeah.
Oh, that the stage just ends. They didn't want to have us go back to the surface. Hey, we got one of these stages now. One of these mushroom stages that Sonic is so known for. I mean, I guess there is Mushroom Hill Zone.
Yeah.
Oh my god. You know, you try playing. You give this a shot.
Alright, wait a sec. Alright. I'm here.
Alright, go for it.
I'm not here.
Oh, yep. Okay, there you go.
Okay, I had to find what button actually worked. Cool.
And just give the audience a verdict on the controls.
It does feel like I'm moving through molasses. Like, I'm very much fighting for every inch of going forward.
But the jumping is so loose. It's
Yeah,
so
that
feather
too.
light.
Like, it's really hard to get going, like, momentum-wise forward. But you'll just slip and slide at the same time.
Alright, you ready for a Bowser stage?
I always hope this isn't going to be like Bowser or something like that. They're going to do something different for the bosses. They never do. It's always just the boss from the thing that it's from.
Ooh.
Wait, how?
Well, there's no point in rewinding. Just go ahead and... I think you have some degree, unintentionally, of, like, edge control where you can... Oh, wait.
Oh, jeez. This is one of the maze stages.
Yep, I just realized it. I just flagged that in real time.
Okay, the problem is, you can't run across the top like you could in Mario.
No, you can't.
So, you have to rewind me because I'm stuck here.
I mean, you can run. There's a button you hold down to run. Let me just confirm that it... Okay, no, that doesn't work. So, let me do this.
Because individual hops.
Yeah, because I have the benefit of rewind here. A more immediate access to rewind. Ooh, oh my god, I am a roan.
There you go, alright.
Oh, come the fuck
okay.
on. Fucking pardon?
Were you testing to see if it was inverted?
No, there's just... You can't jump over it. There's nothing you can do here. Because the hitbox extends... This is literally impossible. There's nothing you can do here.
the warp in 4-2. Should have taken that other warp.
This one is unplayable. This one is unbeatable, I'm convinced.
Yep.
Unless going down
Bottom
here...
route isn't real. Because that'll just loop you. That'll definitely kill you.
Your fate will be sealed, Superman.
Maybe it's not an actual maze. Maybe if I just keep running past the bottom, maybe they weren't competent enough to program like the loop logic, and this is actually
No,
just...
I think they did it.
Good God. Yeah, this is sick and twisted. This is fucking evil that this was released.
Guess we won't see if it's Bowser or Eggman.
I'm sure someone has gone through the effort of like cheating at this game and showing off the contents thereof, but yeah, nope. That's where I draw a fucking line in the sand. Speaking of drawing a line in the sand, I got another mention only. Been a minute since we had one of those, but there's one I don't want to play necessarily. One I don't want to spend the time on the show. Let's see that box art. Sparkster for the Super Nintendo. I believe this is a game by way of Konami. Okay. So, folk who are really deep in the bootlegs may know of another Twin Eagles group release. A game by the name of Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And there is a ROM that goes around of it. And what it is a fairly straightforward ROM hack of a Sparkster for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Tell me it is the next slide here. Tell me that if I do what I just did. Nope, I just fucked up and broke 2 slides is what I did. So let's go back while I attempt. Yeah, we'll come back to that slide. Here's what it looks like. Looks something like this. It is Sonic the Hedgehog's sprite in place of Sparkster and absolutely nothing else different about it. This is...
Did they give him a jetpack, or did he just do that?
He has a jetpack and a sword. You can tell that it is like a modified version. It's like the Sonic 1 sprite redrawn with like, Sparkster's moveset. It is actually fairly well animated, well integrated. This is also not real. The ROM that goes around for this is not, in fact, the actual ROM that existed in the world. There is no dump of the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 reskin of Sparkster. But there is a story behind this. So, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. This is a thread from the Sonic Retro community. This thread still exists, as a matter of fact. And you will find it here. And I'm going to read this post by Shoeman Bundy. So if anyone might remember, some time ago I found and posted here that the infamous Sonic the Hedgehog 4 hack on SNES, again, different names for it, Sonic the Hedgehog 4, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, etc., by a Peruvian hacking group called the Twin Eagles Group. If you saw their website, you may have also noticed that among lots of other hacks they've done in their past, they had a Sonic the Hedgehog 2 listed. I finally got into contact with Mr. Byte, the former leader of the group, so the leader of Twin Eagles was still around in some capacity in, looks like 2011, when this post was up, and found out that he had lost the ROM file for the game, which turned out to just be a hack of Sparkster. But luckily, he still had the VRAM file from the original artist. So, I, that being Shoeman Bundy, has spent the past few hours and just finished hacking the sprites into a Sparkster ROM, so now we can all see what they originally had in mind. Apparently the game was distributed on cartridge like Sonic 4, but I guess it must have been more sparse since it's clearly not getting repirated over and over and the like. I hope to come across it someday, since Mr. Byte himself can't even recall if there was anything else done, like a new title screen and other sprite hacks. And going by their other work, there must have been a title screen at least. So again, Twin Eagles did, it's come back to me now, Sonic the Hedgehog 4 was a Speedy Gonzales game on SNES, right, where they put Sonic in. And so it is...
hard to remember at this point.
It is entirely possible that the ROM floating around here, done by Mr. Shoeman Bundy here, that does take the original art, the original VRAM from the Twin Eagles Group hack of Sparkster and just implement it into Sparkster. It might be just the full extent of what Twin Eagles did, besides maybe making a new title screen. But this is still to say, this is still to point out, and this is still for the sake of, correcting revisionist history, that if you play the ROM titled Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for Super SNES, or Super NES even, Super Nintendo Entertainment System, that purports to be the unlicensed, the original, the actual unlicensed game. No, you are playing a fan's reinterpretation, imagining their best guess as to what could have and would have been, what was, available on the market at some point, but is not preserved. And so that is like a real curious, because so many of these unlicensed games were on like a billion different multi-carts, had a million different releases, and this is one that apparently flew under the radar that is still waiting to be dumped. Still waiting for someone who might have hands on this, because again, the guy that Mr. Byte, the leader of Twin Eagles, who was kind enough to, like, you know, field this guy's questions online, believes that he actually did release this game in some capacity. So yeah, very curious bit of ROM hack history here, and the fact that this is just passed around as if it was the unlicensed game and not just a interpretation of it. It loses a lot of interesting history there, I think. I think Schumann Bundy probably deserves their flowers for putting this out, for putting this together, and for being the one to reach out, the one to think to reach out to Twin Eagles Group and see if they had the original ROM file on hand to get that original like art file and to implement it. I think that's actually very neat. I think it's actually very fucking cool that this does exist in whatever capacity it exists in. Codeman38 also points out that has it been mentioned that the Twin Eagles Group were also the same hackers responsible for Ronaldinho soccer. Because yes, that is the case. And yes, that is the case. I believe I did not mention that, so thank you. Twin Eagles and Hummer Team, two, as I mentioned, like two of the bigger names in my mind in unlicensed games, especially Hummer Team, since Twin Eagles, so much of what they did was just sprite swap stuff. But we move ever along. One that I've been waiting to show here, one I've been eager to get to, and I believe you might be eager to, Charkie. Sonic Adventure 7 for the Game Boy Color. Released in or around 1999. We know that one for more of a fact, that it was at least 1999. Because it's Sonic Adventure, isn't it? Because it's got Sonic Adventure on the cover, so that kind of hard dates it. This was developed by our friends at Makensoft, who did the Sonic 3D Blast 5 for the Game Boy. Now they have moved on a generation of handhelds, and then put this out.
So Sonic Adventure 1 came out in 1999. Sonic Adventure 7 came out in 1999. So they ran through 7 entire games in the span of 1 year.
Prolific.
Like Five Nights at Freddy's.
Now, what's awesome about this, to spoil it, the game itself is just a colorized version of Sonic 3D Blast 5. I think it starts off in a different stage. We'll play a little bit of it. We will play a little bit of it. But what's particularly awesome about this is that in addition to preserving the box art, preserving the ROM, the manual is also preserved for this. Someone took the time to scan the manual included with this Game Boy Color cartridge. Let's take a look at that, why don't we?
Hell, someone took the time to make a manual for this Game Boy Color cartridge.
God bless them. Instruction booklet, Sonic Adventure 7. I got all the proper Nintendo branding on here. Official Nintendo seal of quality.
I like... back up a little bit. I like this product has been rated by Entertainment Software Ratings Board. I imagine it came in like an unmarked envelope, and they were just like, what the fuck is this? I guess? Sure.
With like $20 in it just to make them look the other way.
Yeah.
Epilepsy warning. So far, so Trisha. Read before using your WinTempo game system. Some bad font kerning here, some missing spaces and such. So we're starting to get into, maybe this is not on the level. Start up your Game Boy system.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, we got Tails. I love seeing Tails.
Removing the Nintendo cartridge.
Any way they can avoid having the text be searchable by Nintendo's lawyers as they go through the PDF files, clearly. All right, this one has a story in it. Dr. Robotnik's latest scheme. A mysterious island has surfaced near Sonic's home, an island with a revoltingly familiar shape. The bald dome and walrus-shaped mustache are a total giveaway. Robotnik has built another floating platform to carry on with his plan to rule the world. Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic Adventure 7, the Echidna, decide there's only one thing to do. Get to the platform, break inside, and do some serious property damage. Unfortunately, that is precisely what that egg-headed villain is counting on. Robotnik has laid a series of traps he thinks are infallible. His plan is all too familiar. Get rid of his nemesis Sonic for good, and once that's done, collect the Chaos Emeralds in order to gain the power he needs to take over the world. Travel with Sonic the Hedgehog or Sonic Adventure 7, the Echidna, through a maze of traps, evil robots, and fearsome scenery, and prove to Dr. Robotnik that there's no trap made that a determined Sonic or can't overcome. Take Control,
Pro-
Highlight Sonic, or Sonic Adventure 7.
Damage. Sorry, but Prog Pretty Damage sounds like a really shitty mixtape name.
So we can highlight
Like,
Sonic
Rush
or
Stream Theater.
Sonic Adventure 7 in a character select screen. That character select screen is absolutely going to exist. Guide Sonic or Sonic Adventure 7 in game screens. Allows Sonic or Sonic Adventure 7 to look up or down. Press the D-pad in the appropriate direction. So in case you haven't flagged, every instance of Knuckles' name, except for this one, where it just says perform the Knuckles sliding attack, is replaced with the graphic for Sonic Adventure 7 for some fucking reason. All this text is retyped from the Sega Dreamcast manual. Further proof of that, hey, look at these absolutely real screenshots of this Game Boy Color game that are on display here.
I'm glad they kept the Chow Garden in this.
After the Nintendo logo and a short intro, the Sonic Adventure 7 title screen appears. Start to see the Sonic in Sonic Adventure 7. Select screen, press D-pad left or right to highlight Sonic or Knuckles, and press start to begin the game, etc., etc., etc. It keeps going.
Making the most out of that one Tails image.
Look out for TVs. Extra lives, springs, cast emeralds, big rings. This is going to be a content-packed fucking game. Sonic-sized strategies. Doubling back to get more rings or search areas again can be dangerous. Try to take on Robotnik while carrying as many rings as possible. One false move and you're going to lose some rings. You may make more than one false move. May seem obvious, but watch where Sonic or Knuckles is going. There's danger around every corner, and a little too much speed can lead to a big tragedy. Credits for this game. Producer Bill Pearson. Product managers Chrissy Keemer, Kristen McCloskey. I think these are, I do believe these are the Sonic Adventure credits as seen in the manual. Blank page, back cover. Fucking awesome. That is some primo stuff there.
No notes page?
Yeah, no, that's what the blank page would be, wouldn't it be? All right. We should play at least a little bit of this. I mean, they went through the trouble of colorizing this game for the Game Boy Color, so we should probably see what that looks like, shouldn't we? And I also believe this has a banger intro. They did mention the intro. They did highlight the intro here. Hold on. Got to make sure people can actually see this.
The Muppet Show? Not quite.
Oh my god. Awesome. I'm holding right, just in case the character select screen is just kind of hidden. Maybe here, maybe left or right here. Select button. Nope, just start.
Round 1. Act.
I
Put on a
intend
show.
to. Oh, doesn't this fucking look familiar? Doesn't this play familiarly, which is to say badly?
I think you're... sweet.
Huh? Huh? Pardon?
I think your life counter is Mighty the Armadillo.
I mean, there's only so many colors they could show simultaneously on a Game Boy Color. And it was more than this.
It was Game Boy Color, not Game Boy Colors.
Good God, it's this, yeah, this, you know, I'm almost at a loss for words, like straight out the gate. I'm just thinking about how we're gonna do best and worst of the night tonight.
Oh, I'm not gonna know what any game was. They're all called, like, Super Sonico 6.
Adventure
It's
Blast
like, okay, which one
3D
was
2
that?
7. The third. Oh my
Remember,
God.
Mario 1 rules. You can't jump up into anything.
Which just makes the game fucking unplayable as a consequence. So, here's where I should mention something I've been sort of holding. This is not the first time we played this game on stream. There's an unlisted stream that I'm not happy with. We only streamed for like 30 minutes or maybe an hour, and we had like no viewers. This was like before you were on the show, obviously. This
Yeah,
was
it
a
sounds
long
like it.
time ago. But it was the first stream that Dan Reichert ever showed up in chat too. So, and this
Did
is where
they
I reached.
Not finished building?
We do have the spin dash. Did we not have the spin dash in the previous game? Or no, it was just useless. That's right. Yeah, so, yeah, I don't know how to get past this. This is where I ran out of patience with this game. And by ran out of patience, I mean ran out of ability to figure out how the fuck to play it.
Oh, remember, in the manual, it said to use the boost jump to get higher.
Yeah, that's so stupid. Why didn't I think of that? Yeah, obviously. Yeah, so if you know how to get past that, if you know how to get fucking past that, you know more about bad bootleg games than I do.
I sure don't.
Well, Sonic Adventure 7, that was a fucking bust. But you know, Sonic Adventure 8 might be.
Yeah, that's, you know, give him some time to work out the kinks. Figure this out.
This one's also by Makinsoft. Fuck me in the face. This one releases in around 2000. Who cares?
Surely they couldn't have just released the same game again.
No. They wouldn't do us like that. Like, if I know Makinsoft, if my friends at Makinsoft, I know one fucking thing about them, is that they would not just re-release the same game cynically a fucking half dozen times in a row. See, different intro.
Sonic
Sick.
and Sonic.
One of these songs is red, one of them is blue. You can't tell because of the dithering which one is which, but... Sonic Adventure, Zone 1. Hey, it's a colorized version. We played this stage already. Remember when we played this in the on the Game Boy?
Yeah.
When it was the second stage of Sonic 3D Blast 5 or whatever the fuck?
Something along those lines.
Do you think it's too late to try them as war criminals for this? There has to be something in the Geneva Convention.
What's the statute of limitations on a war crime?
I would assume there's none. I assume we're in the clear to, And, you know, this shouldn't need to be said, but to have the default colors for Sonic be red, green, anything besides blue, strikes me as very who gives a shit, you know?
I wonder if you were on, like, a different level, if he'd be a different set of colors.
Anything is possible. Was this one of the stages we made it past, or was it one of the ones we didn't make it past?
Yes. It was the stage in, like, London that we couldn't make it past. Granted, we could make it past the first stage in the other version of the game, and the first stage in the previous thing we played, there was just a pit that was impossible. So who's to say if we can beat this one or not?
I'm glad they put a ring down there, by the way. Did you catch that ring on the Infinite Descent? Also, this is...
It's to soften your fall.
Run past him. Oh, you're right. Yep. Boy, howdy, this is getting slow. The frame rate tanks here. I mean, it's been so stellar up to this point. And I have no control over, like, stopping them. Ah!
What? Just straight through.
I know I'm gonna take the damage here. It's just... I just think I can even make it to the platform. Yeah, what are you supposed to fucking do here? I'll have to wait for another cycle, I guess.
Yeah. Because they're out of sync, so...
No, it's just... No!
You may need to wait another cycle for, like, the thing to change again. Now's the time to walk off. Just walk right through it.
Yeah, no, you can't reposition yourself on this because you just keep fucking falling through it. So we're in hell. Is there a way to jump up high enough? Yep, okay. I mean, this doesn't help me because this is still absolutely fucking uncontrollable. And the fact that I keep fucking falling through it is making me absolutely livid. There's some, like, pixel where, okay.
There you go.
I just want to see what the next stage is. I gotta know. I can't continue to live my life without knowing what the next stage of Sonic Adventure 8 on the Game Boy Color is. The only thing giving me purpose in my life right now is seeing what the next fucking stage of this is, and if it just mirrors the Game Boy, original Game Boy release. Did you notice I had the animation for jumping on him, but then I didn't jump on him, and he continued to move up and down as if unaffected. Also, to spawn the enemy, I have to be there.
Alright. Got this.
Fuck it, just take the damage.
I like that, though.
Come on. How much longer can this stage go on for? And we played it once tonight already. Yes.
Oh, now it's doing that thing I thought it was going to do the other time, where it doesn't despawn.
Zone 2. Let's see it.
Alright. Oh, desert. Different
Oh
level. Never
no,
seen
this is the stage we couldn't beat in the previous game.
Is
Look.
it? I thought it was
Yes, it
the
is.
London stage we couldn't beat.
No, I'm talking about Sonic Adventure 7. This is the first stage of Sonic Adventure 7, the game we just played before this one. That is that has the rope bridge you can't get past. In fact, let me confirm that by playing up to that point and seeing if it's still missing the necessary blocks you would need.
Okay, well, listen. They learned their lesson between 7 and 8. They took the level that you can't beat and put it later in the game so you can actually see more stuff.
Yeah, a whole stage's worth of content. One whole level. I don't know how I didn't take the damage there, but I'm just glad I didn't. You know, and at least we have this wonderful music to accompany it, right? You know, if there's any small miracle here, so we have such a wonderful soundscape. You know, people always talk about how great Sonic music is. Oh,
hey,
my
wait,
god,
this
they
is
fixed it!
passable.
I mean,
They
it still
found it.
sucks.
They found the platforms. They looked in their warehouse. They were like, God, we gotta find these platforms somewhere. We found them. It's too late to put them to 7, but let's make 8.
We'll get it right with this one. We'll earn back their trust. We'll earn back that consumer confidence.
You know, back in the days before systems were connected online and you could just patch games, they just had to make whole sequels to fix bugs.
For the sake of folk at home who can't detect jokes, no revision cartridges existed just to get in front of that. For all the fucking nerds out there. Okay, so what's happening here is I can't stop the momentum of him running forward. I'm not touching. Okay, letting go. Not touching anything. Well, let me get on the platform. Not touching anything. Again, I'm gonna land and not be touching anything. What happens if I try to touch backwards? Nothing happens. I have to land on this one here, maybe. No, I don't care. We know we can get past
is this
that.
an ice level?
Everything is an ice level in these goddamn bootlegs. Every level in every game is an ice level. Charkie,
Yeah.
I'm starting to lose it. I'm starting. It's beginning to set in. The realization is starting to strike me that these games aren't good. That most of these Sonic bootlegs are, in fact, pretty bad.
Well, I hadn't picked up on that yet.
And you know me, I'm just a little bit ahead of the curve, a little faster than the average hedgehog. Which hedgehogs are not usually fast, by the way. I don't know of you. Okay, have I told this story? This is just to distract me from the fact that we have 2 more games to play tonight. I used to work at a kids museum.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of my favorite jobs I ever had. I was a tour guide. I would ham it up, and I would just take like school groups through the museum, and they fucking loved me. And I loved that fucking job. It was great. Wish I was doing that now. And we had an animal exhibit where we would take out animals, and the kids would get to pet them. It was like we had a crested gecko, a rose-haired tarantula, a few other animals. But the curator of the museum, the person in charge of the museum, her favorite animal in the world was, of course, the hedgehog, the humble hedgehog. So she's like, we gotta have a hedgehog for the kids museum. We gotta have a hedgehog for the petting exhibit at the kids museum. And so she got one. There's one slight problem with getting a hedgehog as an animal to feature at a children's museum, and a museum that's open during the day. Can you flag what this problem is? Well, Charkie?
They're nocturnal animals.
Yes, there you go. So the hedgehog would fucking sleep all day and only wake up when the museum was closed, which made it absolutely fucking worthless because no one wanted to be the asshole who woke up the hedgehog so that kids can gawk at them and get prickled by them and whatnot. Brilliant minds running that museum. She was a nice lady. That was just unfortunate bit of failing to do your research before spending an exorbitant amount of money on an animal and upkeep for said animal as well. I'm sure I've told that story on stream before. I only got so many stories, folks. But hey, we only got so many more games to suffer. Jodariel with the correct answer, by the way. Everyone else is saying they're nocturnal. Jodariel says they're too fast to see, and that's it. Yeah, they run so fast, the kids are like, it's basically imperceptible to them. And they left burn marks, like tire treads, all over the museum. It was a big mess to clean up. All right, penultimate game of the night. It's another Game Boy Color game. I'll also tell you that the next two games are developed by the same developer, whose name is Syntax, spelled Sintax. And so, we fast forward to the year 2002-ish. Again, no hard release dates. I don't know how many times I'm going to say that over the course of the night. Thank you.
This is a present
for the gift sub there, by the way. Let me just show this cover and read the title. As you do with these games as we introduce them on stream.
He got them implant sunglasses.
This is Super Sonic II for the Game Boy Color. What more needs to be said? He wears his sunglasses at night, during the day, at all times. He replaced his eyeballs, his corneas, with sunglasses. Oh boy. Well, Game Boy Color game. Mercifully, this is not built on the Makensoft Foundation. So maybe there is hope for this. I lied. Hey, it's Tails!
Hey.
Sick music. Oh my god, a
Thanks,
character
Tails.
select. Well, if you're gonna give me the fucking choice. So.
So I can't immediately peg what this is originally.
This is their own original engine.
It is, okay.
But these gameplay hooks were developed, I think, with a Digimon game in mind first, if I'm to recall correctly. Or maybe that's the next one. They basically they made like their own bespoke engine for the Game Boy Color, and then later for the Game Boy Advance. And they would just make an endless procession of games with sprite swaps. But, you know, it is built on their own foundation, so I guess that's something.
Yeah. Looks like you have a lot of different attack types.
It looks like
available
it. I'm pressing select and I got nothing. Damn, Tails is swaggy in this.
Walking with his chest out. Walking with confidence.
This ladder climb animation is awesome.
Sort
I
of like
don't
a flash game quality to the ladder animation, I think.
So I'm holding the B button to see if it charges an attack or something. I think I might need to level up my attack. I think this is invincibility, or it was damage. It's one of the two.
Notice you have an MP bar that is not going down for your attack, which is to say that we have not seen the full potential of Tails' magic.
And no, MP in this case stands for miles per hour, and he's always miles per hour, so he's always gonna have that bar maxed out. Oh, cool. Fuck you, game. All the way back.
So, I mean, Tails has to have a canonical, extended family names, right? There has to be more people with the per hour last name. So I'm just wondering, did they go full out everyone has to have a speed pun, or do they just give up this is Chris per hour?
Yeah, it's Joseph per hour. He charges by the hour. He's a lawyer. Why couldn't you be a lawyer, Tails? Fiddling with your machines. No money in it. Oh man, this is boring as fuck. There's not like any challenge to it. I mean, on the one hand, I'm glad I'm not having to do any platforming. Because I just been... Oh!
Alright, I found... Okay, so Tails' father is Amadeus Prower. And his mother is Rosemary Prower. And his paternal uncle is Merlin Prower.
I'm assuming this is comics canon.
Kilometer. Yes, I will also assume this is comics canon.
This is, still not beating the accusations of being boring as shit. I think this is the sort of game... In fact, has this game been on the show before? Have I had...
I don't recognize
I'm having
it.
an incredible sense of deja vu right now, which means this either happened in a Discord call or in a previous stream or in my nightmares. But I was playing this game, and someone said, so when does this feature on the stream? And I said, there's no way I could do an entire stream of this game. It's so fucking boring. It'd have to show up in a variety night. It'd have to show up in a theme night or some show where we do Sonic bootlegs. And I have a distinct memory of saying that during this stage and having the exact conversation I'm having now, the exact monologue where I say, man, this is fucking boring. This is all coming back to me. Or maybe I'm just losing my fucking mind.
Was I talking about Tails' family?
No, that's a new, unique
memory?
angle on it.
Okay.
That is a fresh perspective on it. I would love to have other attacks. Even if it's only superficially, like, you know, making the game slightly more interesting to have a different attack than this. It'd be something. Whereas right now, we got nothing. I mean, it's functional, right? This is a working product. Is that the door from Super Mario World?
Definitely is. I mean, this is more than, like, the past several we've been looking at.
Love the soundscape. I believe Codeman38 in chat mentioned that, yeah, they didn't know how to do a sound engine right particularly well. So at some point in all these games, it just breaks. We have now reached that point.
We've now reached the stage with the lawn sprinklers.
Joe DeReal asked, do all characters play the same? I'm going to hazard a guess and say yes.
We could find out.
Hey, look, it's an actual
5
Sonic anime.
seconds to find out. I wonder why you cannot collect the hearts.
Oh, I see the door. Come on. Come on. Up and
There's
over?
gonna be the most circuitous route possible to that door.
Until this just winds up being a dead end. Wait. Scissors!
Got some incense? Oh, scissors.
I think scissors. Looks like a pair of scissors to me.
Sure.
We can cut through the
We're
red
working with,
tape,
like,
the
what, 12
bureaucracy.
pixels?
I'll go under in this direction. Chugga 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 tails tails. Alright, I'm sure the music will fix itself now.
No, we're still in the intro to this song.
It's gonna build up. When the drop hits, when the bass drops in this song, panties fucking drop. I tell you what.
Like, we're basically just listening to a Bull of Heaven song at this point. It's going to last 10 billion years.
You gotta see him do
You
it
can
live,
download it off
though.
of this zip bomb.
When they play it live, though, when they jam it out.
Yeah. It's better than some of the music we've heard tonight.
So, I'll say this
Hang on.
about bootlegs in general.
Oh, it's gone. No, it's never mind.
Huh? I didn't pause. Oh, I see what happened. I broke the game because I collected health in the same frame I died. And the game doesn't know how to do that when you restore health at the same time that you're losing it. That's one way to soft lock the game. Okay, so thinking about bootlegs. A big reason why it's very hard to appreciate them for the layman, for the casual bad gamer, one who's not quite as seasoned as we are, perhaps, and just people in general, is that, these games really are meant to be... hey, we got music again. You need to, have some programming knowledge. You can just break these games wide open, right? I mean, in addition to, being the one to decrypt them, to figure out how to get them working, you would also need to, to actually get through these, just be able to, no clip, the equivalent of that, just, debug your way through it at a certain point. Just break the parameters of the game, because imagine playing this, in full, actually playing the game by its rules. Insufferable. A fool's folly. I also need to check to see the descriptions of some of the games we previously played tonight. The Game Boy one specifically. There's one I want to especially thank a special someone for, who made that ROM possible. It might be the next one. It might actually be the next one rather than one that we've previously played.
Well, before we move on from this one, I would like to see from the top either Knuckles or Sonic. Probably Knuckles.
I'm going to save state there because I hate myself. All right.
Also, let me try this.
Okay, go ahead.
Sometimes it just feels like he's not doing anything. Okay. I am trying different things to see if I can make something happen. Alright. I officially do not know how to switch.
There's no way.
I've tried a lot of things.
I think that was a interface intended for another game where you have power-ups or maybe the ability to switch between things, but not this one. Blahat says, I'm trying really hard to remember, but I recall on the old N-Gage stream you played that Sonic game. You kept saying it would have to be played for a full stream. Sonic N, I think we call. I don't think I would have said that about Sonic N, because that's a Sonic Advance. That's literally just Sonic Advance in a bad aspect ratio. So I mean, that would just be Sonic Advance, but slightly worse. Imagine a worse version of Sonic Advance.
So I think we can confirm that they play the same.
Yeah, I'm gonna say yeah. I'm gonna parrot that sentiment as an excuse to end this hellish facade.
I also just wanted to know how it felt in the hands.
Dude, how did it feel?
Rate it later. Better than a lot of stuff we played tonight.
Yeah, that's the sad, shocking part of it. Okay. Oh, so yeah, okay. I did fuck up. There was a special shout I wanted to mention. I wanted to give a special shout out during the course of Sonic Adventure 8, actually. Let's put the cover up on the screen. Not Sonic Adventure 7. There we go. Yeah, so I had this on the side and I forgot to read this. Sorry. For many years, Sonic Adventure 8 had not been dumped. Believe it or not. As of September 12th, 2017 is when this game first became playable. This particular gem of the fucking Sonic Adventure games. And that's thanks to one friend of the show, Taizo Hori of Handheld Underground, who dumped the ROM and created an MBC5 hack, allowing it to work on any emulator. When played on real hardware using a flash cartridge, such as the EverDrive GB series, the ROM will not work due to a checksum issue with the bootstrap, technical nerd stuff. But thank you to people who know the technical nerd stuff. That's what I was trying to make. That's what reminded me that I fucked up here and forgetting to mention Taizo Hori, is that it does take people who are technically proficient to, one, get these games running, because a lot of these games, again, had that weird-ass DRM built into them to prevent other pirates and other bootleggers from breaking into their fucking code and just putting on their multi-carts or whatever. But then, the consequence of that is that it also takes people who are very skilled in hacking and debugging and parsing all these lines of code to make these things, to preserve them for the modern day. And Taizo Hori in particular, they have their own emulator called Hedgehog Boy that is made for the purpose of running bootleg Game Boy Color, Game Boy ROMs, things of that nature. It's the only way you can play a terrifying 9/11 for one such game. So yeah, I just wanted to give a quick shout out there before I forget. Which now brings us to our final game of the night. Now that I got that squared away. And this one also has a bit of a story behind it as well. This is, again, by Syntax Group, Fighter Sonic, also known as Sonic 3 Fighter Sonic or Sonic Fighter Sonic 3. Who's to say? This is one that there's absolutely no release info known for this one. No one has any idea when this one came out. It would have to be post Sonic Advance because it has Sonic Advance graphics in it. So when did that come out? Like what, like 2003, 2002? So it's going to be some time past that, let's say. This is another one where, due to heavy copy protection, the ROM was not dumped for a number of years until, I believe it's one Ribshark who made this playable on May 21st, 2020, from that point forward, who got the ROM in more or less a working state. Unfortunately, it's still a Syntax game, so working is a very loose term here. But nothing to it but to do it, is there? Let me get this prepared, ready, because I know this one comes in hot, volume-wise. I mentioned Sonic Advance.
Yeah, I'm seeing a passing similarity.
Yeah, sick beat, though. Lost City.
That's
Nope.
him, Lost City. Yeah.
No character select in this one. What you can do is hover in the air infinitely by doing attacks. So that's pretty cool, I guess. I don't think L or R does anything. Got hella moves. We also have
basically just shooting himself out.
I'm creating a clone just for the purpose of kamikazeing. This game has an absolutely fucking inscrutable system for health and energy that the bar at the top, at some point it becomes not a concern if you like collect enough rings or something. This game is like lawless. It's one of those lawless games in my mind where it has no rules. I mean, it has a set of rules. It clearly has a set of rules. I just can't parse them or figure them out.
Yeah, this one is very hard to gauge just from looking at it. Like, obviously, you know, run and jump, but it's like, I'm trying to discern, like, what it's trying to be. If it's anything like the previous one, then this is not based on anything besides Sonic sprites. But this is not really based on anything, right? This is just
it's another one of their
creation.
engines that they put like a bunch of games out on. There's a Digimon game that is rooted in this. So what's good is that I can slow down my descent by just doing the constant attack. So that's nice. Now it's back to the beginning of the stage because I did fall down there. I'm trying to figure out what to do here.
Down?
No, that's the beginning of the stage.
No, as in the down button. But here comes the platform.
There we go. I think I activated the clouds.
There's some tech for you. Yeah, you're gonna take those clouds up, I think.
Yep, let's keep going up. Codeman mentioned there's like, 15 games based on this exact template. Same levels, same gameplay, slightly different sprites. Oh, come on. Hang time. There we go.
Like, his idle animation when you're just standing still, like, I'm imagining, like, him making, like, Beavis noises. Just, like, stand still for a little bit. Someday. Yeah. He just looks so pumped.
Oh, music change.
Thought you maybe had a boss, but maybe that's the low health music. Well, that's not the way to go.
It certainly isn't. Imagine having to replay the entire stage. Also, there's like a pickup here. Oh, no, that's just a tear in the wall. That's just a tear in the space-time fabric. Who gives a shit? Come on. Up and up we go.
Oh, yeah, you made it.
Codeman has a comment in chat. Clearly, we
Yeah,
have someone who's an expert in this stuff, and I always appreciate that. I mean, I also recognize Codeman. Codeman's been around since the website days. Codeman knows way more about the stuff than I do, so...
Codeman says, that music change is a mistake. They screwed up the sound pointer for defeating that star enemy. Ah, close. How do you get?
Huh. Is there something I'm missing here? We're so close.
There's a cloud back there, but I don't know if we would get to that.
And a reversed one-up.
It's a pool.
Oh, wait. God damn it. Come on.
Let me...
No!
What? May I try?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Whoops.
Mm-hmm.
A little.
It's because, like, the gravity in this game works, like, the second you start following, it drags you to the center of the earth like a fucking bullet train. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
You just gotta go that fast, huh?
Yep, just gotta find the right pattern to it. Oops, Starmie.
I think that might just straight up be Starmie, too. I mean, I'm sure there's a Pokemon version of this.
Can't kill him. Oh, I don't know how I killed him.
You just ran into them. I said lawless, that this game has no rules, but I think I prefer, it's the term, you know, that's one of the, it's something you said a long time ago that, you know, has stuck with me, like, forever, that I think about, like, constantly, where you said this game was coded in, like, dream logic. It's...
Magical realism.
Magical realism, yeah.
Oh, come on.
Turned into fucking nothing.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. Well, bad level design to have, like, the coins just lead you directly into death.
Oh, bad level design in this game?
Oh,
no.
Jesus. Okay.
Let's see where it starts. I'm just curious. I'm so curious.
Cannot restart the whole level over. This is...
All right, let me try something.
All right.
You just have to jump into them. That seems to work when it comes to the Starmies.
I mean, at this point, I've been conditioned to think that jumping into enemies is not how you play these games.
Well, that's just a consequence of us playing so many goddamn games in the course of one night. All right, these guys... Oh, well.
You have to jump. Oh. Did it.
Air Garden. Oh, you just mean the first stage of Sonic Advance? Yeah, it's... Why the game didn't start here? Who is to say? That multi-cart logic still runs deep. It's in the blood.
Like I say, I like the ability in this one to have, like, the ability to go horizontally without falling infinitely as long as you have the right rhythm. That's always, like, some fun movement in a game.
I don't have the skills like you do for that.
Even when you get it, it's very, very slow, but it's possible.
Also, I just don't think this game is going to do anything of note at any point here. I think it's going to be more
Probably
of this.
not. I feel like we have now seen the game. I'd be surprised if there was a boss in this, to be honest.
Oh, I bet there's a boss. I bet there's at least, like, a boss that they probably recycle several times over. Again, I still don't know how the health system works, how it recharges, how any of this shit works.
Honestly, like, some of these jumps, I don't know how you would make them without doing, the exploit.
I think the answer is that they just want you to do the exploit. I think the answer is that it was built with that that exploit. Wait, hold on. Air Garden. Okay, yeah, no, that's why I had to make sure. I thought for a second Air Garden was a previous level.
No.
Anyway, that will do it for Fighter Sonic 3, Fighter Sonic, Sonic the Fighter 3, Fighter Sonic. Sonic Fighter, Fighter Sonic. Ugh.
Sonic the Fighters for arcade.
No, not that one. Boy, howdy, that was a lot of bad games. Mm-hmm. That was a lot of dog shit. That was an inexcusable amount of games, one might say. But what if... What if I had one more up the sleeve? What if I had one more bonus game?
You have.
I don't even have a box for this because this is just a ROM hack. This is just one you can find straight up on like romhacking.net. So there's a ROM hack of Somari out there. This is called Sonic Improvement Volume 2, also known as just Sonic the Hedgehog Volume 2. So what this is a you take your Somari ROM and you patch it with this. And I think it's going to try to clean up Somari's act a little bit. And we'll see if it succeeds in that pursuit. I mean, with such a rotten foundation, is anything possible? Is anything really possible? This was last updated in 2020. Hold on. Let's rewind.
Official. My dude says, finally, Sonic.
Check those options. Yeah, these are certainly some options they have here. I like the 1994, copyright 1994 Sega. You wish. It's copyright 2020. I believe the developers behind this, there was an original version 1.0 release of this to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Sonic. So that would have been, what, 2016? That was developed by someone called The Jabu, whereas this version 2.0 is further developed by someone by the name of Terwilf. You can again check the romhacking.net page for that.
Huh. How does this feel?
You feel it.
Okay.
Well,
wait,
a little faster than that. A little faster on the draw. So you can tell it's still the same stage layout, but they put some extra rings in.
Oh, this is way better.
Yeah, it's got new music in. It's got new graphics, obviously.
You can jump out of a spin dash. You can cancel out of a spin dash. It still eats a little bit of your inputs sometimes. It's a treat. It has a little snack on your inputs.
Run smoother, obviously.
Way better, yeah.
This would be taking advantage of, like, mapper chips if it was on real hardware, but this is obviously just made as a ROM hack, so it has all sorts of cool shit it can do. Hey, checkpoints, novel concept.
I hope I hit it. I didn't see.
I believe you did.
Okay. Come on, up there.
I also mentioned this adds actual Chaos Emeralds to the game. So if you actually get the special stage, you can legitimately collect the... I
have a feeling I won't. Shit. Definitely have a feeling I won't now.
I'll cheat you a little bit. Also, we can just cheat. There's a... if you do the Contra code, if you do the Konami code on the title screen, you get level select. And the ability to always have, like, all the Chaos Emeralds, so you can just play Super Sonic in the stages. Because, yeah, this also adds Super Sonic. This also adds the special stages from Sonic 3, just as a bonus. It has collect blue spheres in it.
Huh, that would be impressive, actually.
Yeah, let's just cheat. Let's just do a lot of cheating. Up, down, left, right, B, A. Hey, there we go. So you can see these will be the stages as seen in Somari. Which one are they skipping here? I don't remember. I don't remember the Sonic stage order. But these are all the original Somari stages with all the original layouts. I think they are improved. I think they made like the inescapable pits escapable. They added
yes, I noticed
rings.
that.
Yep.
I didn't have time to mention it, but yeah.
Let's do a fucking blue spheres just to see that.
Okay.
And this is an invention of the ROM hack. I think this was just them flexing. Yeah, it operates as a blue spheres does, which is to say it sucks. I've always hated blue spheres.
I spent so much time doing these in Sonic Mania to unlock everything. I kind of like these stages, kinda.
I hate getting bounced,
flow state.
Going backwards, and immediately getting canceled out of a stage. And in the context of, like, the main game where getting bounced back means you lose the opportunity in that stage. You have to go back to the stage and collect all like the rings or whatever you need to do to get back into these stages. And then like the entire time you're doing it, keep the stage in the back of your mind so you remember where you fucked up. But you know, it's still impressive to see it running on an NES, even if it's with the benefit of like, you know, 30 plus years. Or however long, not 30 plus years, that wouldn't make sense timeline-wise, would it? 1994, whenever. I don't remember how time works. That is 30 years, isn't it?
Perfect. Just get those.
Hey, there we go.
Now, if you plug another NES game into this one, can you just do, like, infinite blue sphere stages?
If you top load this into another NES cart... Okay, let's see where it spits me out. Yeah.
Email zone.
But, let me just demonstrate.
Get 50 rings.
Yep. I think I can do that. Because this plays so much fucking better than anything we played tonight. And, you know, I find this fascinating, obviously, for a multitude of reasons. But, you know, the fact that this is rooted in that Somari code, that Hummer Team's underlying code is still in this to a major extent, that this is foundational in that sense, and their level designs and all that. Spikes don't worry me. You know, and the fact that people were... I mean, clearly, like, you know, the reason why they went with Somari is probably not, like, for a love of Somari. It's probably because it makes a functional foundation to build something like this.
It's a good base to work off of.
It has the stages. It has the assets. Then you can redraw the assets that don't look good. And you can tweak the game
Take out
feel.
the Mario.
Is it really going to toss us
You
here?
want to do this again?
No, I don't. I do like that instrumental, though. With the sound channel removed. So yeah, this is clearly a labor of love. For Sonic in particular, even if not necessarily for Somari, the fact that it does incorporate Somari and keeps it kind of alive to a certain extent is it's cute. I find it very interesting, very endearing. The legacy of this weird bootleg game. And it's, you know, it's still a bootleg in certain ways.
No, I think that was intentional.
Oh.
That sprite flicker, maybe not so much.
You know, like, you know, again, like, just to remind folks, like, these levels did exist in a probably worse capacity. They were probably not as smooth, not as fully realized, missing certain functions and features in Somari. But this is, like, you know, the level design. So if you want to play Somari... or, you know, one of the more, like, proper Sonic NES games. This is probably the best way to do it. Needless to say. I don't know what your second place would really be. I guess it would be Somari itself, the original. And yeah, you tell this gets hard. But, you know, at least you have responsive controls in this. But I just figured this would be a fun way to sort of close the loop on the games for tonight. Consider giving
Anya
this...
says... Now we just need a Sonic ROM hack that converts the levels from Somari into that game.
I wonder if that exists. Sonic fans are sick enough that might actually exist already, and we're just not privy to it. Get on a Sonic fan game community. Or don't. Who's to say? All I can say is that I have had my fill of Sonic bootleg games, having played most, if not all of them. Obviously, you know, like fan games, moving forward, sometimes get lumped in. Sometimes just ROM hacks from like the 2000s onwards get lumped into coverage of Sonic bootlegs. I've always found that to be, one, disingenuous, if not just like, you know, the creators of said content being stupid. I was trying to find a diplomatic word for it, but nothing came to mind. I went for the low punch. I went for the gut punch there. Yeah, bad content creators, lazy content creators, hacks, if you will. Playing ROM hacks and pretending as if these were things that were stolen cartridges. But I think that's a pretty thorough explanation that we provided. I mean, no one else is going to show you ball bearing for the Amstrad CPC. Boy, howdy. You know, in conclusion, boy, howdy. A lot of these games are awful, but it's cool that they are preserved. It is cool that some of them are documented. It is. We need an update. We need to check back in on these things. So much of the work that was done in preserving this stuff was done in those heady days of the early 2000s, before people had access to decent digital cameras, before they had access to speedy internet, before for a number of things, scanners for scanning manuals and box art and such, any number of things. A lot of the ROMs that are being passed around are probably like incomplete, or probably like bad dumps. Who's to say that something like the pit we couldn't get past in Sonic Adventure 7 on the Game Boy Color, that rope bridge we couldn't get past, who's to say that's not the result of a bad ROM dump? I mean, I'm sure like the base gameplay would still suck ass. I mean, that's just fundamental to how badly that game controls. But there's always the possibility that stuff is being lost in translation, that maybe these fucked up stage orders in some of these games are not original behavior, are the result of a multi-cart ROM being isolated from the multi-cart and then shoved into an isolated ROM file, then being loaded up with the wrong header data. You know, who is to say? I think what we need at some point is people to take a second pass at preserving these legacy ROMs for all these unlicensed and bootleg games, to see if there's stuff we're missing here, to see if these games can be shown in a possibly more positive light, to see if there's features and functionality and stuff that is not as intended. Because emulation is never perfect in the first place, but if there's just more to the story here. And to also like do more of the history, to get in contact with these people, to track down the folk behind the likes of Hummer Team, the Twin Eagles guy, get back to him, do a second pass on that interview, figure out who was behind Coney Soft, et cetera, and see if anyone's willing to dish on their time putting out these games, how they felt about these games, whether they cared about the end result at all, whether they were hampered by the technology, or if they just didn't care, if this really was just fly-by-night rookeries putting out games for the sake of putting out games, for the sake of filling out multi-carts. I mean, who's to say? There is so much left to explore here. There's obviously people doing good work, solid work, into the modern day. I obviously mentioned Taizo Hori, who runs Handheld Underground, who I think does incredible work, in essential work, and trying to preserve these handheld bootlegs in particular. That's become sort of their hyper focus. And we need more folk like that. We need more motherfuckers in the trenches doing that kind of work for this scene. Anyway, that's just my thought on that. So even if the games themselves are frustrating to the point of pulling out hair, making me scream, I'm at least glad I have the ability to play them. Do you have a sort of conclusion? Any sort of similar, any thoughts to get off of your chest?
Not particularly, but I always like bootleg games like this from the point of view of looking at it as like early kind of like indie game kind of stuff. Seeing like even in like the sloppiest of slop stuff, seeing kind of some of the artistry that did have to go into it of trying to create things like for sprites that didn't exist. It's like, well, someone had to figure that out. Some of it is better than others in terms of presentation, in terms of gameplay, but I still think it's like very kind of fun to look at these like alternate universe versions of the games that we know.
Yeah, there's definitely a kitsch factor to it. Also, I don't know why it didn't show us on screen here. Oh, it's probably because we were off center. I think it's going to be, what, like 320? No, let's do it in real time. I'll do real positioning. Here? This looks right. I think that's about center. Probably, again, should have had us on screen while we were giving our thoughts there. Because now it is time. The other thing we got to do here is do best and worst of the nights. Good luck.
No,
Charkie,
I don't know.
what was the best of the night? And the one we just played doesn't count.
Did?
Doesn't count. Doesn't count.
I don't remember. Somari, I guess.
You know,
right?
That's a valid choice. That's a valid option that you picked there. Defend it, though.
It's the one that, like, felt like it was off to, like... It felt like if we started from here and things got better from here, like, I could see that. It's like, okay, they were starting with a base that kind of worked. That was, it had a few technical issues in terms of how it controlled, but I could see them getting better with it. They did not get better with it, and no one else improved upon it. But for starting at a place where it's like, yeah, this is fine. It's a little rough, but fine. Like, that's probably the best one of the night with that.
Yes, I will also second that in order to say that the best of the night is very clearly Somari, and not, even its derivatives, the likes of Super Sonic 5, 1997, and Sonic 3D Blast 6. There's also like a Sonic the Hedgehog 5, a game that's just labeled as Sonic the Hedgehog 5 that is another like version of Somari where it's Sonic in the game and then a different starting stage. There was just another variation that I skipped outright because we didn't fucking need it.
Yeah, the ones derived from Somari are worse.
They're worse for the fact that they start at random stages, that they feel like less complete as a result of that. I think the ideal would be a version of Somari with Sonic sprite swap back in. So a version one of those Sonic, like the proper Sonic versions that start from stage one, just plays like a normal fucking Sonic conversion to the NES. Honorable mention, I guess, to Sonyc, Sonyc, the analogy game, the fucking MSX one. I didn't think it was very good, but it was at least a original take, right? It was an homage. I don't know if they should have charged for it. It's probably good that they put it out as freeware. Maybe it should have come out as public domain in the first place. But, there was clearly an effort and a labor of love. I think I said that about 100 times when we were playing it. Labor of love, labor of love, labor of love. But it was. Like, clearly that was a result of passionate people who wanted to put Sonic on the MSX. And by God, they did. In some form or fashion. Okay. Worst of the night.
This one is harder. Because after a certain point, they all kind of blended together. It doesn't help that a lot of these were just Somari again. Gee. I'm not sure if I have a proper answer. Again,
I do.
because, like, let me hear yours first.
It's fucking Sonic Adventure 7 because you can't get past the first fucking stage because the rope bridge is out. It has a funny little title screen, but beyond that, and the manual too is pretty funny, but beyond that, it's fucking unplayable. It's you literally can't make any progress in it.
That's the one that's like that? Okay,
that's the one that's like that. Yeah, okay.
I'll agree.
Good.
For the fact that you can't beat it, for the fact that you can't beat the first stage, it is just broke.
Good, I'm glad we got there. We're in agreement then. We both read on both the best and the worst. Congratulations. Wow, we came in over time, but not as long as I thought. We can always stall out. I can find some more. I can make a bootleg game in the background right now and get one ready for us. It'll just be another version of Somari, but it'll start from a different stage. I'll hack in a level select.
Vibe coded.
Nah, I think we will draw this one to a close. Close the curtain on Sonic Bootleg Blast by saying, folks, thank you for joining us on this occasion for this show, the Sonic Bootleg Blast. It was a fun one to put together. We got to cover some weird esoteric stuff. Games that we would not always have the opportunity besides putting them like in a row. As torturous as it was to have to go through all those games in a row, playing effectively the same game 3 or 4 times at a time as the nature of this shit dictated. There was no other format that would have worked in my mind for this. So we had to do it. We had to bang our heads against it. And, we made it out the other side. Are we the same people as when we first entered the tunnel? Have we transformed, perhaps? Who's to say? But I do feel somehow enlightened, enriched for the experience, weirdly enough. I feel like I scratched something off my bucket list. I got back to early 2000s me, the Sonic cult browser in me, the Sonic cult lurker would be proud of current day Cassidy, I like to think, and my commitment to the bit. Because let it always be said, I will commit to the fucking bit. Hey, if you like what you saw here tonight, why don't you watch some other streams we do, other shows we put on. Consider tuning in, sticking around, giving us that follow. Let's go over our stream schedule. February 26th, we're gonna start our playthrough of Catwoman, Argonaut Games' Catwoman, their last game, from the folk that brought you Star Fox, and eventually went out of business on the back of putting all their eggs in the Catwoman basket, in a little game by the name of Malice that we've previously played on the channel. This will be the continuation and conclusion of the Argonaut Games story of their closure, and in the form of a very bad superhero tie-in game. So that'll begin on Thursday. That'll probably be, 2 or 3 parts? Who's to say? And I think we're going to make Johnny play that one, because I call not me. I call anti-dibs on that one, not shotgun.
I have been playing a lot of stuff on the show lately, so I would also like to not do it.
So, sorry, Johnny. Monday, you can join us for a casual Monday, where we play not-so-bad games, and we could certainly use it after tonight. Boy, howdy, I could use a reprieve. Shoot the shit, so on and so forth. A good time is had by all in attendance, so please consider tuning in. And that's actually as far as I've planned ahead. I got nothing for next Tuesday on the docket right now. We will have to figure that out. It's always something on the Bad Game Hall of Fame. We're always up to something. So we'll get back to you on that one. How about that? And if you really liked what you saw here tonight, you might consider joining our little community over on Discord, discord.gg/BGHOF, community of connoisseurs. Talk bad games, good games, every game between. There's a dedicated Sega channel for discusso of Sonic et al. There's also non-games channels. Those are ones I prefer to lurk in, personally. And there's also a Bad Game Club channel for those of you who are inclined to like video games, to play video games, where every month we pick out a game, and everyone plays it and commiserates over it. This month it has been Duke Nukem Land of the Babes, but with February coming to an early close, as it's the shortest month of the year. I don't know if you knew that or not. We will be moving on to another game come March 1st, February 28th, when in roundabouts. So tune in to see what that might be, because if you don't like the game we're playing in the Bad Game Club, there's always next month. Wonderful thing about it. And if you really like us, you really like us, you might even consider financially supporting us by pledging on Patreon, subscribing on Twitch, or becoming a member on YouTube. Any or all of the above will grant you access over on that yonder Discord server to a Patreon Saints channel, wherein you can vote in polls to determine our playthroughs. You can make suggestions to help steer the direction of the show. You can gain access to exclusive content, usually, most commonly by way of VODs. We're working on other stuff. We're working on other exclusives there, as always. And also just know that we know you and appreciate you and thank you, and we recognize you for helping keep the lights on at the silly little bad game enterprise that we run. If you can't financially support us, though, and you're still looking for a way to help us out, if you still really like us, but just can't pony up the bucks, we completely understand, believe you me. A good way to help out the show that is free is to head on over to our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/@badgamehalloffame. Go over to our suggested viewing playlist. It is 20 handpicked episodes that we think make for some of the strongest onboarding onto this show of ours. Maybe this show will make the list at a certain point. I thought it was fun enough. Or maybe someone who just loves Sonic. I can't imagine. Sonic, woefully underrepresented in terms of fan communities. Really an obscure franchise. Can't believe we dedicated a whole episode to Sonic the Hedgehog when there's such little audience for that. But hey, if you happen to know one of those rare Sonic fans out there, maybe send them this one. We leave it to your discretion, dear viewers. Oh, with all that squared away, who's streaming at this current juncture? Who can we raid? Who can we send folk the way of? Nah. Nothing I'm seeing right now. I feel a particular...
Really?
What?
Really? Nobody?
Yeah, we probably should. I don't know. I was looking for a bad game. I was looking for bad games on the list, right? I was looking for someone who's playing some dog shit. All right. How about I mean, wait, did something jump out to you? You say it.
No,
what
I
did
don't
you
see. I'm not on the. I don't have access to that list right now.
Yeah, you're holding me up here at the end of the show now.
Well,
no.
Chrome won't let me launch. All right, what do you do?
Yeah, no, sorry. I didn't see anything in note. I didn't see anything particularly compelling to me. So hey, I mean, go find a retro streamer. My recommendation to you is if you are in a rating mood, go find someone playing a Sonic game and let them know the Bad Game Hall of Fame sent you. just propagate our name, put our name out there, even apropos of nothing. I don't know. Check out Handheld Underground. Instead of rating, I'll just send folk to the Handheld Underground Taizo Hori's page. How about that? Because I find it to be a very good website with a lot of interesting content on it. So that's as good as I can do for you right now. Oh, I accidentally... There we go. Got it there. I got it in chat. Anyway, that'll do it for our show. That'll do it for the Bad Game Hall of Fame for tonight. I, of course, have been Crackdro Cassidy.
I've been Charkie Adventure 95.
That's my favorite one. Thank you, once again, for tuning in to our humble program. I hope you'll come back again if this was your first time. So on, so forth. I look forward to seeing you again. There will be more bootlegs. The bootlegs will return until morale decreases, until morale plummets. The bootlegs will return. Bye-bye.
Good night, everybody.